Hello from Daytona. I'm Marcus Lemonis, Chairman and CEO of Camping World. And tonight we're proud to present the inaugural race of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. What do you say we go truck racing?
When young race car drivers dream that dream of standing in a victory lane, this is the place they picture. It's NASCAR's biggest stage, and no series has performed on it with as much intensity or insanity as the trucks. One driver will be standing here in Daytona's victory lane. Who will it be? Familiar faces return, and some new faces will appear. All of the usual suspects and some new ones as well, all racing for the ultimate prize, the prize that Johnny Benson took home in 2008, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series trophy. Daytona has already had some rumblings this week, the shootout, qualifying, even the duel. But now tonight, the first NASCAR race that pays out points. It's the Camping World Truck Series, and this is racing the way it ought to be. It's the first truck race of the season, the first race under the Camping World era. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Devoto. Welcome to another year of the setup. You know, the Truck Series is 15 years old. As a teenager, we are way past puberty. This racing is put hair on your chest, tough as nails, dirt under your fingernails kind of racing. If you at home think you're tough enough to hang with us for 25 races, well, welcome to our little family. You know, in no other year have there been more changes in the Truck Series off-season. But first, let's go ahead and get you updated on things that have happened here at the track. Let's start with our pole sitter. And for the second year in a row, it's a Roush truck that will lead the field to green at Daytona. This year, it's Colin Brown on the pole. And we mentioned the series sponsor is new. Well, so are some of our drivers, and even the regulars have new addresses. You see, 25 of the 39 drivers who tried to qualify for this race have had some sort of change. We will update you on that tonight and throughout the season. And speaking of change, the biggest news happened just a few days, actually weeks before we arrived at Daytona. New rules for 2009 in the Truck Series. Let's go ahead and get you updated on those. We start with the number of crew members allowed at the track, a maximum of 12. Only 5 will go over the wall. And when they do go over the wall, some changes as well. You can add fuel, you can make a tire change, but you cannot do it on the same stop. And that will keep Ray and Adam very busy tonight and all season. Also, in engine limitation, there are some new engine rules. Let's go ahead and hear from the garage and some of the guys in it to find out what they think.
The rule changes that they've made, you know, they're not big things. Will they save money? Yeah. You know, and any kind of savings we can get right now is definitely a plus.
I think eliminating a couple positions at the racetracks over a year's time will save race teams quite a bit of money. The bad part of that is it, in a lot of cases, is going to put some more people out of work.
Why change a great product unless you're going to save me $500,000? And so that point wasn't taken. So I'm just not much for change when you got a good product.
I think for the first few races, it's going to be a chess match for us crew chiefs because it's really going to change up the way our pit strategy is.
There could be an opportunity for only 2 or 3 trucks to be on the lead lap, you know, because you're going to have to take tires. You're going to have to take fuel, but you can't take them at the same time.
The motor thing, like I said, we used to run motors 3 races, so it's not a big deal.
We won quite a few races, and the majority of those wins were done on second race engines, maybe possibly a third race engine.
Did we change something just to change something? I'm just looking for an explanation.
Yes, there certainly are some changes in the Truck Series, but one thing that will not change is the great racing that'll be out on the track. It's great racing that Jamie McMurray likes. I just saw him walk by. He's a Truck Series fan, used to race in the series. Our pole sitter, Colin Brown, just walked behind me. That's what's so great about the series. We get to be right out here on the track with the guys, bringing them to you. Something else that's great is the performances that we saw on the track last year. Let's go ahead and take a look back at some of the great moments of 2008.
Has done it tonight.
Look at this. It's a mob scene.
A driver capturing victory for the first time in NASCAR.
They're side by side, 3 wide down the backstretch. Donnie Leah has the edge. door to door as they come to the start-finish line.
We're right on the start-finish line, and we could not tell who won the race.
It's win number 2 for Darnell.
Here comes Eric Darnell. Who's going to win it? It is going to be Mike Skinner. Skinner will win it over Eric Darnell.
He don't deserve to be a racer. If he's going to wreck me every week, I guess we're going to have to do it back to him.
Look out! Oh, look, it's Stanley. We got a big one on the back chute.
He doesn't care about this. It's his fun time.
Heated tempers, both on the racetrack and now off.
My crew was upset. They deserve to be. Tough trucks, tough drivers, and a tough series. That's all I got to say about it.
Difficult night for Johnny Benson, our point leader, coming in and now on pit road.
This is the funny part about the NASCAR Fast and Truck Series. You think you're on top, and all of a sudden you're back on the bottom.
Surviving ain't enough here.
It all comes down to this.
Johnny Benson stays on the racetrack.
Now will Ron put 2 tires on to make sure he gets out right behind Johnny Benson? Because right now, Johnny Benson is leading this championship.
Johnny Benson will win the championship.
We did it. We did it. We did it, guys.
What a drive by Johnny Benson. He drove his tail off to win this championship.
Last week, the Grammys. Next week, it will be the Oscars. Here in the Truck Series, we have our own versions of Best Performance, Breakout Star, and Soundtrack of the Year. Here you see some of our favorite moments. I will never forget that finish at Michigan. That was definitely one for the record books. You know, Ron Hornaday told me what he loves about Daytona, it's not necessarily the racing, which of course that's great. It's the buildup, the anticipation that a new season is underway. It's the setup, if you will. And yes, that's a shameless plug. Let's go ahead and send it upstairs. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip. So good to be back with you boys. How you doing?
Well, we're doing good, Krista. Thank you for welcoming us back. But we want to, I think, always heed the advice of our elders who have told us to learn from history. And anything you would learn from last year is that our points battle, well, could it get any better? We didn't think it could until last year, and it continued to get better. Are we going to see that again in 2009? Do we have the players to do that again?
We have the exact same nucleus to have another great point battle. We have Skinner, we have Hornaday, we have Benson, we have Bodine, we have all the players that have made this championship so good over the last few years. But there's a lot of changes going on too, Mikey.
You know, they say sometimes change is good. Well, there's 25 of the 39 teams that showed up here in Daytona that changed. They had a different driver, different team. Something was different with their combination. So they're certainly hoping that change is good. And I can't wait to see how this championship plays out. Will it be a new combination that races up there and challenges Ron Hornaday? Or will Ron Hornaday take that team that he's been with for a couple years now and race for the championship? It'll be fun to watch.
Well, we've had a lot of changes. Obviously, driver changes, number changes, rule changes. But one thing that normally doesn't change when you come to Daytona, great side-by-side racing, Krista.
That is absolutely right. Thank you very much, Rick. You know, what would happen if the Steelers, after winning the Super Bowl, became extinct, rendering Ben Roethlisberger homeless in the NFL? Hard to believe, right? Well, that's exactly, in essence, what's happened here in the Truck Series. Johnny Benson, just months after hoisting the trophy, left without a home. Our Truck Series sage, Ray Dunlap, has the details and the driver.
Well, Johnny Benson has won 4 championships in his career, but he's never defended before. And right after that championship last year, you said you actually thought about retiring. What made you decide to come back and give it another go?
Well, Trip Bruce, he was working really hard at trying to get me over to Red Horse Racing. I mean, I knew he was going over there. And, you know, been talking to him and Tom DeLoach, and they kept trying, and then I finally did. I said, man, this is be another fun year to go work with Trip again. I really enjoyed working with him, and I knew he was going over there, so I thought, well, debated for a long time, but it didn't take him too long to convince me to come over there, and we're looking forward to a good year and going to have some fun.
We wish you good luck. Nobody has ever won back-to-back championships in the Camping World Truck Series.
And Ray, if there's one word I would use to describe this guy, Ron Hornaday, this week at Daytona, it would be focus. You were ready, starting 4th tonight. Is this your best chance for a Daytona win, Ron?
Well, every time I drive a KHI Chevrolet, I've always got a great chance. So Rick and all the guys worked hard on this truck we ran at Talladega. So a little different strategy. Well, we'll see how these pit stops play out, but I'm looking forward to trying to do something for Longhorn and all these guys on the Chevrolet.
He missed his 2nd straight title by 7 points last year, Krista. No doubt Ron Hornaday is hungry.
I know Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson took this championship all the way to Homestead. Now here we are back in Florida. And as Adam said, just a 7-point differential made the difference. Will it be 7 points again? And who will the title contenders be? The first pages are written here in Daytona tonight.
Next on the setup, Johnny Benson is coming off a championship season, but now has the challenge of joining a new team.
You want to be excited about the season, that's for sure. It's not that often you win a championship, and then all of a sudden you're with a different team.
It may have been the offseason for NASCAR, but Todd Bodine still found a way to race. And we kick off a new season under the lights in Daytona when the setup returns live on Speed.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series setup is brought to you by Camping World. At Camping World, our lower prices and friendly service will make you a happy camper. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. And by Old Spice, the official deodorant of NASCAR.
Lake Placid, New York. This is Todd Bodine. He's got Brian Shine. Sometimes it's good to be the first one down, and sometimes it's not. Oh, trouble here. And Todd Bodine turns the sled over. This area of the track called the Devil's Highway. It will take them down into Shady 2.
You put your head between your knees and you say a prayer.
That was some footage from the Jeff Bodine Whelen Bobsled Challenge. It's a very important race to the Bodine family, and it was actually kind of a two-part event. Now, Todd Bodine, he did wreck there in event number 2, but he won the first event, and that is huge because Boris Said has dominated that event the last 3 years, so it's a very important organization and very important win for the Bodine family, and I believe Ray has caught up with the Onion.
Well, actually, Krista, we just lost him because he jumped in a Corvette to ride around and wave to the fans, but I do want to reminisce a little bit about that event. I've been up there for 4 consecutive years, and it's amazing the energy that all these NASCAR drivers get into because they want to raise money for our U.S. Olympic team, and that's what it's all about, and Todd Bodine has a big passion for that. I just talked to him a few moments ago, and I said, how do you compare winning at Daytona in the Olympics? He says, I don't know. I've never been in the Olympics, but I have won at Daytona, and we think it's going to be great. And he also had a little bit of advice for some of the rookies. He said to those guys, you got to use their head. And one of those young drivers is standing by with Adam.
24 hours ago, Colin Brown got his first career pole. Tonight he goes for his first career win. What's the biggest challenge, Colin?
Well, it's going to be tough. You know, all the veteran drivers out there obviously have a lot of experience here, but I think we showed in qualifying the number 6 Conway Freight Ford F-150 truck is fast, and you know, that goes to show just the hard work these guys have put in back at the shop. The guys at the body shop and the guys at the Roush Yates engine shop have done a great job on that truck. It really rides fast by itself, and it was kind of a surprise to qualify on the pole. You know, we did a lot of practice in the drafts and just one qualifying run, and that's all it took to be on the pole.
08 Rookie of the Year. He's hoping for a title in 09. Colin Brown on the pole.
Well, last year at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Matt Crafton got that first big win. It took a while, but how about if you'd get one at Daytona? How big would that be?
It'd be huge, and to get it anywhere. I mean, to do it in the competition that we're in and beat the guys that we run against each and every week, as tough as this series is, I mean, every win's great. So, I mean, to do it here would be the biggest, but all of them are great.
All right, keep your eye on that 88 truck tonight.
Well, Matt Crafton, very good indeed. He has a great starting position tonight. But as we said, a lot of rookies, a lot of new faces in the field. One of those, a very popular guy in the world of 2 wheels.
And the grass you see behind us on the infield here at Daytona will be dirt when the bikes come back here next month. 5 times this guy, Ricky Carmichael, won right here. But tonight, all different for you at Daytona, your anticipation of a NASCAR debut.
It's pretty amazing to be sitting here. When my last year in 07 when I raced here, Supercross, I'm like, when I knew I wanted to do this, like, it'd be so cool to be out here in a truck or in a car, anything, and to be here in the Camping World Truck Series NASCAR division, man, I'm so happy. Thankful for Monster and KHI Chevy, man. I can't believe it. We're gonna do the best we can.
Driving for Kevin Harvick, Carmichael starts 6th tonight.
Adam, I I got to know Ricky when I covered Supercross for Speed, and trust me, no one has a work ethic like him. He works so hard, and he will continue to do so in the trucks. He will be fun to watch for sure. Well, we also heard there from Matt Crafton. You know, his teammate this year in the Truck Series is Johnny Sauter, and Johnny Sauter might be one to watch, especially tonight. Why? Well, it's Friday the 13th. His number is 13. You know, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Some tonight will go quietly, sweet like a chick flick. Yes, I just said that. Others will hack their way through the field like a good old horror show. Grab the popcorn and get ready to settle in at Daytona. You won't want to blink.
We're going to see fireworks here very shortly.
Green flag goes in the air.
They go 3 wide, mid-pack.
Oh, wow.
Oh, problems. They are rumbling and thundering off turn 4. 3 wide.
No one giving an inch.
We got a big number of trucks are in. One truck bursts into flames.
Unbelievable ride into the wall.
We have got a junkyard of wrecked race trucks.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series setup is brought to you by Camping World. At Camping World, our lower prices and friendly service will make you a happy camper. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Toyota, moving forward. And by Verizon Wireless. Call more people, use 0 minutes. Only on America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family, Verizon Wireless. Look at that track, 2.5 miles of pavement. The fans are starting to come in, fill the seats. They've been out on the grass meeting the drivers. Of course, the Truck Series, one of the best performances, one of the best shows in all of racing, and nowhere do they put on a bigger show than here at Daytona. You know, the offseason has been one this year of chance, change, and challenge. Earlier in the show, we told you our champion had to make a change, but he didn't go at it alone.
And here comes Johnny Benson right up on the back bumper of the leader.
Johnny Benson, 3 in a row from Milwaukee. Johnny Benson will win in Kentucky, making his way to victory lane tonight. Ron Hornaday charges in just a bit too hard, and that will wrap it up.
Johnny Benson has been the man from the drop of the green flag.
Benson is going to win in Martinsville.
Behind Benson's championship run, there was a lurking problem. Bill Davis Racing was shutting down its operations, leaving the number 23 team jobless.
The last 4 or 5 races, you know, I knew I was leaving. The team knew I was leaving. Myself and Tripp had a lot of meetings with the guys, and it didn't really feel like you were struggling to get the guys pumped up.
I actually told them, we're building resumes right now. You know, if we keep going here, win, lose, or draw, you're going to be recognized. I mean, you're going to be recognized no matter what. As nervous as we might have been underneath, we didn't show it.
It was business as usual all the way until Homestead was over.
Johnny Benson's hanging tough.
Ron Hornaday trying to clear that 22.
He's getting a push from Eric Darnell trying to clear the 22 truck.
One truck separates Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
Guys, I think he has too far to go. I don't think he can catch him, Mikey.
I don't think so either.
And Johnny Benson will win the championship.
We did it. We did it. We did it, guys. We did it. It's bad, Johnny.
It was an accomplishment that we get to take home for the rest of our lives and say we did it together. So everybody there, I believe, was recognized by the racing community as being professionals and the best in the business. And when times get tough, the best are the ones that people seek out.
Created in 2005, Red Horse Racing has been an upcoming team, and team owner Tom DeLoach jumped at the chance to hire the fallen champions.
Truck Garage is a small town. Everybody knows everyone else's business.
Tom DeLoach was very interested in just talking to us and seeing what our future goals were.
There's no need in bringing in a guy that has to relearn a crew. My goodness, they just won a championship.
The old group, the championship team, I'm guessing about 60% of them are here. We've got a couple behind-the-scene guys, fabricators, shock specialists, tire specialists, interior specialists, mechanic, the best suspension guys. And that's covering each point of the group.
All shops have equipment. You have to have the right people to utilize the tools that you have there.
Although some things are obviously different, the heart of the team is still the same. And now Red Horse Racing is ready to defend their title.
I'd like to do something that's never been done before in the Truck Series, and that's have a back-to-back champion.
When you look at the competition, you know which people are going to put a great bid in for the championship, but it's not one team. We view everybody that's there as a threat, and you have to make sure that you're beating everybody.
You heard Tom DeLoach say the Truck Series is a family. So cool to see that Johnny Benson brought some of his extended race family with him to Red Horse Racing. And there you see what a great season in 08 for JB. The setup is close to wrapping up, but the race and the season are just about to begin. Can he defend his title, or will a new driver start off the season with a bang? Hold on to your pup tent. It's the Camping World Truck Series only on Speed.
Mike Wallace is going to win the inaugural Daytona 250. As they're coming to the line, it's Rick Crawford dicing, dancing. It's going to be Carl Edwards. Bobby Hamilton makes the pass.
I'm going to guess Spencer won.
Bobby Hamilton will win. Trying to hold
here we go.
Look at Jack Sprague. Side by side. Jack Sprague will win at Daytona. Unbelievable finish.
The Advance Auto Parts Advanced Look. In 1 week, the Truck Series heads west. Will Chevy get its first Fontana win in 10 years? Or will it be a rowdy repeat? Racing from California next week, live on Fox. And in 3 weeks, the trucks are back on Speed with racing in Atlanta. Be there.
Next week, the trucks go coast to coast, but plenty of racing still on the schedule this weekend here in Daytona. It's a nationwide race Saturday at noon, and then the big enchilada, the Daytona 500, 2 p.m. Sunday on Fox. But where else than in the Truck Series do you have the CEO and chairman of the new title sponsor right here on pit road? Marcus Lemonis, how excited are you?
Krista, I can't tell you. Our company and our teammates and everybody else is so excited to be here. We're ready to get this season started and get the camping season going.
We cannot wait for the Camping World Truck Series. It all begins tonight here in Daytona. Marcus, thank you so much for everything you've done and you're going to do for the series.
Great,
and here
thanks.
It all is behind us. The drivers are lined up. They are ready to go. They will strap into their trucks for the People's Series. Your series, the Camping World Truck Series, is ready for its turn. The drivers are lined up. The energy is in the air. You see the Bodines. Hey, we didn't even tell you, Rowdy Bush is in the field. He will be a factor tonight, as will all the old regulars. Ron Hornaday is ready. Johnny Benson will try to defend his title. It starts at Daytona. The Nextera Energy Resources 250 is now.
Race 1. What ends in Miami after 25 races begins in Daytona with Race 1. For each tick this season, the first talk sounds tonight.
It's Todd Bodine crossing the start-finish line.
What ends with one's triumph
Johnny Benson will win the championship. Wow!
begins on the beach with hope for many. A new season wins, wrecks,
Problems behind him. He gets turned around. Flames blowing.
and finishes.
It's door to door as they come to the start-finish line. Closest finish ever.
Starts here with Race 1. For every end, there is a beginning. And what finishes in Miami starts here in Daytona with Race 1.
Experienced champions who know Daytona like the back of their hand will race 3 and 4 wide with rookies who've barely been through the tunnel. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Nextera Energy Resources 250 on Speed. And this one is big as they come, not just because it's the first race of the year, but also because it's the first race under the Camping World banner. We are so excited about the season, so anxious for the excitement, and so psyched to see if the drama comes close to what we had last year. The drivers, like we said, they are behind me right now in their trucks getting ready to start the 2009 season. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on right now as we speak. Ray Dunlap, Adam Alexander, they will be your eyes and ears all season for the most exciting racing in all of NASCAR. Ray, let's start with you.
Well, Chris, I'm up here close to the front of the grid, and it's almost overwhelming to me to think the fact that Todd Bodine has won the last 3 consecutive super speedway races. And take a look at his truck. There's no sticker on the hood. There's no stickers on the side except for number 30. And Todd Bodine is about to run a race that he very likely might win without a sponsor on it. That is one of the most unbelievable stories I've seen in the last couple of years in NASCAR racing. Adam?
Simply put, when you're a driver, coming to Daytona and winning is a priority. Kyle Busch has done it not once, not twice, but 3 times. 2004, he won in the ARCA REMAX Series. He went to victory lane in 2007 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And last July, he won in a Cup car, but he's never won in a truck. He starts 19th this evening, and when Rowdy's in the field, he's always a threat to go to victory lane. Krista?
Well, Adam, as if that energy doesn't pump you up enough, chew on this. In the 9 truck races at Daytona, there have been 9 different winners. Will it be another winner tonight? Let's go trackside for tonight's invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Mainland High School Air Force Junior ROTC Honor Guard present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Father Timothy P. Daly of the Basilica of St. Paul, Daytona Beach offers tonight's invocation.
O Lord, in your kindness, protect the drivers and their teams in this race tonight. Grant, we pray, that this race be safe and enjoyable for all. Reward these drivers and their teams with perseverance, and may the thrill and excitement of this contest be done in praise of your glory. Amen and shalom.
Race fans, here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Show Dog Nashville recording artist Flynnville Train.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
They will not tiptoe. They will not ask for permission. These are the drivers who, like you, roll up their sleeves and put in a full day's work. It's the Camping World Truck Series. It begins tonight on Speed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. At Camping World, our lower prices and friendly service will make you a happy camper. By Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. And by Ask.com. Get the answer to and all of your racing questions at Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. 100 laps around a 2.5-mile loop of pavement going 3 and 4 wide. These are the horses that will fill the field and bring you the excitement tonight. Here in the Truck Series, we bring you as close to the action as possible. Everything behind me is getting ready for tonight's race. If you are just joining us, here is what you've missed. Our top stories. It's Colin Brown on the pole tonight. He will lead the field to green. Also, so many changes. 25 of the 39 guys who tried to qualify for this race made some sort of change in the offseason. And speaking of changes, rule changes this year. Ray and Adam down here on pit row will keep you up to date on those changes during pit stops and throughout the season. I cannot believe the excitement that's going on down here. I can only imagine what the guys upstairs, the type of somersaults of excitement they are doing. Rick, Phil, Michael, are you guys ready for 2009?
Well, we're also excited. One rule change that wasn't touched on earlier. From now on, 20 laps remaining in the race, we will go to a single file restart. That changes from the previous 10 laps to go would be a single file restart. Is that going to change things?
It's not going to matter a bit. I'm telling you, they can park half these trucks on pit road, half of them in the infield. We get down to the end of this race, and they're going to be 2 wide, 3 wide. We saw a video of how many races that we finished here with a 3 wide finish. Right. It's going to be just like that tonight. Everybody from the front of the field to the back of the field has a shot to win this race. And Mikey, what is it like to have a trophy from Daytona?
Well, it's what you live for. It's what you dream of as a race car driver. Everybody looks at Daytona and says, man, that place says what NASCAR is all about. And when you roll into victory lane, I loved watching Rick Crawford, a short track driver from Alabama, pull into victory lane and say, I won Daytona. And that type of emotion will be spread throughout the whole team if they can get to victory lane at this place. It's the best ever, Rick.
9 previous races and all 9 different winners. 8 of them were over the age of 40. Carl Edwards, the youngest winner here at 24 years old. Krista?
I cannot believe the energy and the magic. It's time for me to walk away, but the real excitement is just about to begin. 2009 season starts now.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in sports. Here to give the command, please welcome your Grand Marshal, President and Chief Executive Officer of Nextera Energy Resources, Mitch Davidson.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
There's something brewing in the air. Johnny Benson, Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, or a new guy like Ricky Carmichael. Kyle Busch is in the field tonight. Who starts off 2009 in victory lane? It's all on speed.
Race 1. While there are 24 other races, and the fight for the big trophy still to come, remember, it starts here with Race 1.
Oh, here we go. There's contact made. Spun around and upside down. Unbelievable finish.
The countdown continues. Time's getting short. Race 1 is straight ahead.
The first race of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is about to get underway, and a good friend of mine, Phil Parsons, always says the most important race is
the next one.
The next one, and the next one is right here at Daytona. 63 degrees. It is perfect weather conditions for a race here in Daytona Beach, Florida.
It sure is. You see very little wind, and the skies are clear.
Our starting grid will roll across the bottom of the screen. It's Colin Brown with his first ever career pole, and it happens at the age of 20. He is a very youngster up in front of this field, but he does have experience here in the Truck Series. Want to take a look at our Camping World track description for Daytona International Speedway.
One of the greatest racetracks in all the world. Built back in 1959. You can see 2.5 miles long. Those corners are banked 31 degrees, and that tri-oval, Mikey, is 18 degrees, and it's a turn.
Yeah, you can't go into that tri-oval thinking it's just a walk in the park. There's going to be some action taking place there. Your truck wants to move around quite a bit on its own in the tri-oval, and Phil, when you've got another truck on the outside of you or down on the inside of you, that multiplies. The air really moves these trucks around, so that's a tough part of the track.
Let's take a look at our ZMAX race analysis. 36 trucks will start this one. It's a 250-mile race, 100 laps.
Yeah, you can see the pit windows 30 to 35 laps. That means these guys will stop at least 2 times, a lot of them 3 times.
Trucks are rolling out onto the racetrack. We always like to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers, give them their chance in the sun. Tonight we're going to focus on our rookie class, and we'll start off with Ray Dunlap.
And what an amazing class it's going to be for 2009, Rick. And one guy I'm going to have my eye on throughout the year is Taylor Malsom. He comes from the Seattle, Washington area, and he won't turn 20 until this coming Sunday. But he's got a lot of confidence. He could have gotten a number of scholarships in stick and ball sports, but he decided racing's what he wanted to do. The sponsor on his truck is 180. The number is 81. He drives for Randy Moss Motorsports with a teammate of Mike Skinner. I think this is one kid to watch throughout 2009. Adam?
And another kid we'll follow throughout the campaign is J.R. Fitzpatrick. He just turned 20. He's the youngest driver ever to win Canada's Cash Car Championship, the largest track he's ever run on before he came to NASCAR, a quarter-mile north of the border. Last year he ran at Martinsville, Phoenix, and Homestead, Miami, and now he is prepared to take to the track here at Daytona. Phil?
Adam, I'm going to look at a GOAT. It's actually the greatest of all time. That's Ricky Carmichael, that Ford Monster Energy Chevrolet right there. This guy has had 150 AMA Supercross wins in his career, 15 AMA championships, and he's decided to go four-wheel racing, and he's done all of this, and he's still only 29 years old. And you can hear him. That's Ricky, the GOAT sound there. But again, starting sixth, his first ever truck race, and it's coming at Daytona, Mikey.
You know, Phil, some kids just get it. I remember when Brian Vickers and Kyle Busch showed up, barely 18 years old, but you just knew they were going to be winners. Let's add 18-year-old James Busher to that list. He's my speed spotlight cat, and the reason why I put him on that list, he won his first ARCA race at the age of 16. He won his next one right here at Daytona last week. James rolls off 13th on Friday the 13th.
We've got two other Rookie of the Year competitors. We see Brian Scott. He was actually in the Rookie of the Year competition a year ago. Looks like it's difficult to stop on these bankings because it's 31 degrees. But I'm telling you, he had a little difficulty there. The other two Rookie of the Year contenders, Chase Austin, just 20 years old, and Johnny Sauter, a 30-year-old in this series, and he will be running for Rookie of the Year as well. We'll ride along with a few different trucks tonight, one of those being the Toyota onboard of our champion, the defending champion, Johnny Benson.
We're also going to ride along with the Onion, Ty Bodine, and another Toyota onboard. Remember, Ty Bodine, the last three times we ran restricted plate races, he won in this very truck right here. So Ty Bodine looking to make it 4 in a row. He starts in the 3rd spot.
Well, right beside Ty Bodine is Ron Hornaday. We've got the Camping World in-truck camera for Ron Hornaday. Hey, Phil, positions 3, 4, and 5 tonight. You were talking about Todd. I got Hornaday. Those guys have won 79 races in the course of this series and 5 championships. I like positions 3, 4, and 5 tonight.
All the trucks rolling around the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway. The green flag goes in the air when we come back. Tonight's LEO coverage is provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you have to get DirecTV.
That's right.
Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, Terry Cook has a brand new sponsor tonight. It's called Cajun Industries, but he's got the oldest truck in the field. The chassis he's driving tonight is called Freak, and it's been in all 10 races right here. And believe it or not, it has won 3 races. That particular truck to victory lane 3 times. That's unheard of. Terry Cook thinks he may have the very best shot to get a win here at Daytona tonight. And Danny Rollins will be calling the shots on top the pit box. Adam?
Ray, Colin Brown is only 20 years old, but he got his first career pole here last night, and this evening he will lead the field of the green flag at Daytona. Only 3 drivers in the history of this race have won from the pole. Joe Ruttman did it in 01, Mark Martin in 2006, and Jack Sprague in 07. When Mark Martin did it in 06, he did it in the 6 truck with Mike Beam atop the pit box. Beam will call the shots for Colin Brown here tonight and try and lead him to his first ever win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Well, thank you, Adam. Adam mentioned the fact that, well, starting up front might help. Well, it helped 3 times. Really, starting anywhere in the field, you have a shot at winning this race.
If you're in Daytona Beach and you're inside the perimeter of this racetrack, then you have a shot at this race.
And it's going to be fun to see how it works. We've seen guys win from the front, lay out there in the lead and fight them off. We've also seen guys make a 3-wide pass on the last lap to take the checkered flag, coming from last place in the last 10 laps to win. So strategy, it just depends what you want to do. Anything will work.
One of the greatest feelings when you come to a racetrack is when all of the engines are fired up and the green flag flies in the air. It's about to take place on the 2009 season. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is underway.
Great crowd cheering them off, send them on their way. That feeling never gets old, does it, Phil? Hearing those motors fire up and take the green flag at Daytona.
They were dead even entering turn number 1. Now Colin Brown has pulled out just a little bit ahead of the outside truck of Matt Crafton.
One of the things that series director Wayne Auten emphasized to all the drivers in the driver meeting was the bumpers don't match up. You cannot bump draft in the Truck Series.
But you want to really bad. You just think, I just need to give him a little push and we'll be on around this guy, but it just doesn't work well, Phil.
Yeah. He says, I'm not going to bump him. I'm just going to ease against him. And you end up bumping him. We had that happen in practice a couple days ago.
Across the start-finish line for the first time, leading the first lap of 2009, is Colin Brown. Right behind him, three-time Super Speedway winner Todd Bodine, all over his back bumper. Look at the way the truck is jumping around already on lap number 2.
You know, it's amazing. We saw from our practice sessions all these trucks jumping around, and they go down in the garage area, and I asked these guys how their trucks are. They said, oh, pretty good, driving pretty good. And we're watching them jump around.
Mike Skinner running third, right behind him.
Ricky Carmichael laid up in there just trying to suck up all the knowledge he can, understand everything he can about this truck and how this race will play out. He's never been here before. He doesn't know what to expect.
Not even close to anything that he's feeling right now. And I tell you, he really came into the garage area very humble, like a sponge, wanting to learn about these trucks and about this kind of racing.
Saw a windshield tear off flying around there in between some of the trucks. A lot of turbulent air out on the racetrack. We see a few sparks, a couple trucks bottoming out.
You got to know, Rick, they're running over 180 miles an hour and the thing just hits concrete, hits the pavement. it makes the thing want to jump outside of Daytona Beach.
Seeing them line up now. Again, fourth back from the front is the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. Ray.
At driver intros, he was standing around with Mike Skinner and Todd Bodine. They said, are you surprised to be this far up front? He said, absolutely not. I know we've got a really good piece, but they said, listen, Ricky, what you got to learn is you've got to get in that draft and follow people, feel how your truck is doing, make some adjustments on it. Don't try to be a hero too early. And Ricky said, listen, guys, I'm here to learn all year. I'm not trying to be a hero too early, but I do think we're good enough to win this race. Adam?
When you look at the stats of who has won races at Daytona, virtually every one of them are guys with experience, veterans who have been around the sport for a long time. The lone exception, Carl Edwards. When he won here in 2004, he was driving the very chassis that Colin Brown leads the field with tonight. And Colin trying to join Carl Edwards in the youth movement, not only with a win here at Daytona, but doing it for Roush Fenway Racing as Brian Scott goes side by side with TJ Bell.
Check this truck of Brian Scott out exiting turn 4 just a lap or 2 ago. Whoa, he tried to side draft off the truck inside of him, and the truck moved up. The 11 made a move up the hill a little bit, and I don't think Brian was quite ready for it. He almost got into the outside wall.
Yeah, big time wiggle. He caught that truck just before he got into the outside wall. Remember, he was a victim of circumstances earlier in practice a couple days ago and had made some pretty significant contact with the outside wall.
TJ Bell hit a bump or something. His truck moved up the hill, and Brian said, well, I wasn't ready for that.
TJ Bell is in the 11. That's the white truck just in front of Brian Scott.
Remember, guys, the 51 of Kyle Busch, Rowdy Busch, is in this race right now. He's being shown in the 16th position, but that truck will make its way to the front.
He started 19th, and I've been watching Kyle a little bit, not making a whole lot of progress. These trucks have dedicated themselves to be on the bottom, all in a line so far. That won't last long.
It won't last long at all.
Hey, Ray Dunlap, who have you been focusing on?
Brian Scott. I listened to him as they were rolling off of the grid, and he said to his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, I'm seriously considering dropping to the back early on in this race to find out what we've got. He said, I know, I've watched these races, I know how many times there's a big one. He said, I want to finish this race, and now he did it. He's spinning out on the racetrack.
Brian Scott right in the middle of a 3-wide situation. He gets it pointed the right direction. The caution comes out, and you see that 40. That's Mike Bliss, a new sponsor coming on board just for this race.
Those guys just weren't organized going through that first and second turn. They all were wandering around, darting and dicing, and wound up making contact.
Damage there, Gary.
See a little bit of damage on the right front of that truck.
I don't think this truck's hurt at all.
Not at all. And Brian looked like he was in the middle of a sandwich there, and he got a little bit out of shape and made some contact. Was it with the 11 truck of TJ Bell? Is that who the contact was with?
I believe it was. He was on the outside. Brian Scott was down in the middle, and there was just no more real estate left.
There he is right here. You see TJ is trying to go around the outside of Shane Sieg, has to back off. And then Brett Raymer, this 85 truck, actually moved up a little bit. And then really Brian had nowhere to go because TJ Bell was coming down.
And look, Brian spins out right in the middle of the pack and just drives off. The guy that really got the most damage in that crash was Bliss.
There's another view right here. Watch the 11 go to the outside.
And watch the 85. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. 85 hits a bump, moves up. Scott has to move up, boom.
And TJ was coming down at the same time.
Now the field has been picked up by the pace truck, and this is going to be our first sight of what's going to take place with the pit stops, the new rule change. We're going to take another look here at why Brian Scott's turned around.
Great job by TJ Bell. He got hit in the left rear quarter panel hard, but he was able to maintain control of his truck.
Yeah, that 32 truck of Chase Austin did a nice job. His first time ever here at Daytona. He did a great job avoiding that incident.
There's Mike Bliss and that number 40. It's the Oakland Steel Buildings, number 40. For Mike Bliss.
The owner, Curtis Ski, told me that after qualifying yesterday, he had a gentleman call him from Alabama, and he said, I want to sponsor your truck at Daytona. And Curtis said, that's what's on this truck right now. Oakland Metal Buildings out of Alabama.
Yep, they are. They're going to do 3 races, is what I've heard. So that is great. Bringing on a sponsor here at Daytona in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Now, again, I mentioned the rules changes are going to be no more, I guess, under a spotlight than right now, because early on a caution comes out. You can not change tires and add fuel at the same time. So now the crew chiefs are going to say, okay, do we put tires on right now or do we change fuel?
I don't think they do either right now. I think these guys mostly will stay out, Phil. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you're at the very back of the pack, then you have nothing to lose. And I think it's so early, these guys are limited to the number of sets of tires that they can use. I think they will just come in and dump a little fuel in if you're at the back of the pack.
And let's remind the folks at home why this rule is in effect now. They're trying to save the team's money. They're putting less guys over the wall. They're giving the crews a chance to breathe a little bit when it comes time to pit. And it's all done in an effort to save the team's money, which you have to applaud NASCAR. That's what this is all about, just trying to survive and keep racing trucks. Kyle Busch to pit road.
First few trucks making their way onto pit road, Ray.
Very simple plan here for Kyle Busch is try to do what the leaders don't do. Get on a different cycle, putting fuel in that number 51, and he'll go right back to the racetrack. Double A.
Defending series champion Johnny Benson said my truck is way too tight. Trip Bruce, the crew chief, said free him up. Here he comes down pit road now. It will just be a chassis adjustment and top off the fuel tank. Back down to Ray.
It'll be 4 tires though for Brian Scott. He definitely flat spotted him, so they'll put tires on this time, and that'll put them on a different cycle than most of the other guys. With fresh tires on here, next time they come to the pits, they may be able to do fuel only. We see David Starr, also another one on my end that came in for gas.
So again, our first caution has come out. It came out just after lap 5, and it was too many trucks and not enough room. Brian Scott into the 11. He goes around, and then everybody's pointing the right direction. Join thousands of other fans online during the race to fire off your questions, comments, or smack talk. Throughout the race, we'll be trying to grab NASCAR insiders to fill you in on what's really going on. Go to speedtv.com and just look for the chat link. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Tonight, the live chat is with Tom Jensen, speedtv.com NASCAR editor, as well as Tom Gluck from the NASCAR scene. They are on there right now. It's Jeff Gluck, Jeff Gluck, and they are on there right now, and they are answering any questions and talking with you on that blog.
That's a 16 truck right there, Brian Scott. That is the reason for our first caution flag. Brian has had a pretty eventful week here. Now, we talked a few minutes ago, Mikey, about what happened in practice, but this happened just now. You see him right there. The 11 of TJ Bell is on the outside. The 85 Brett Raymer in the middle comes Brian Scott, and the hole closed up.
There was a big hole when he started into it, and it certainly took 2 trucks to move around a little bit to get him in the bind. And
They really have. This is practice. Now watch the 40 of Mike Bliss. He gets in the back of Ricky Carmichael, and Brian with nowhere to go on the outside of Ricky Carmichael makes pretty hard contact. Watch the outside. Jeff is a guy who repaired that truck. And
that hole closed too. He had a perfectly clean hole to go through, and it closed up. So he's had a rough go of it. I don't really understand. That truck pitted and got 4 tires, Phil, but he didn't come back to pit road to get gas.
Yeah, I don't understand it either, and I don't know why he didn't come back in, even when they gave it 1 to go, and put some fuel in that truck.
Adam Alexander.
And you see Johnny Sauter on track here. He lost a great deal of track position when he pitted at lap 8. The reason the 13 truck came down is he got some debris in the truck, and you can see dragging, that's the broken trailing arm brace. They pulled it out, put it on the pit box. Tough break for Johnny Sauter as far as track position is concerned. They did fuel the truck and send him on his way. Ray?
Terry Cook in the number 25 truck has moved up a position, but he said on the radio moments ago that someone in those front 4 trucks ahead of him is leaking oil. So that could be a very interesting situation. We'll listen to that radio and keep you updated. But he can't identify which truck it is, but he said little bits of oil coming back on his windshield and is coming from ahead of him.
We'll keep our eye on that, keep you up to date. Pace truck back off the racetrack, and now green flag back in the air. We're underway again. Again, Colin Brown just in front of Todd Bodine, but not for long. Todd Bodine goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Now, he moved below the yellow line when he made that pass on Colin Brown.
He definitely went below the yellow line, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm not really sure it was necessary for him to go below the yellow line. He had room, but as he jerked to the left really hard, he went out of bounds.
Yeah, and I think Colin actually went down there to try to hold that spot, so NASCAR will take a look at that. They may tell Todd, hey, you need to give that spot back, but the problem is right now, Colin Brown is stuck out by himself on the outside, and he may be running 15th by the time they get back around here.
He's going to be lucky to be running 15th, Phil. He's still falling back.
Take a look at this restart. Colin Brown just in front of Todd Bodine. Now, Bodine's going to go down. After you go past the start-finish line, you can pass to the left, but you can't go below the yellow line.
Colin definitely made a move towards the inside. Here's Todd's on board. Watch him now. He gets a great start. You see he's got a little momentum. Colin comes down there to try a little bit of.
It wasn't necessary for Todd to go below the yellow line until Colin pushed him over there. Colin made a big move to the left and did force Todd out of bounds.
Colin went all the way back to the 15th after he was leading the race.
That's what they were on the backstretch. They said he may fall all the way back to 15th.
The 30, they said we passed below the yellow line. Check it out, Mike.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you can't pass below the yellow line. Now it's obvious that Colin Brown shoved him down there.
Accident there, Mike, the way it looked.
You're hearing the radio now. The 30. Todd Bodine's being told, we think we've passed below the yellow line. Sure enough, the black flag is out for Todd Bodine.
And there it is. And they were very, very.
Pass through or a stop and go?
It's a pass through.
It's a pass through, Todd.
Now he won't get 5 bonus points either for leading this race.
No, I don't think he will be leading this race. I think right now Mike Skinner will be considered the leader and has been the leader probably ever since the first lap after the restart.
Do not slide your tires when you do it.
Good call there. It's a pass through. You do not want to slide your tires because then you'd have to change them. On the right of your screen, again, the replay.
Our series director, Michael, was very, very adamant that you do not go below the yellow line, the double yellow line, to pass to improve your position.
And so Todd Bodine will slow now as he gets ready to come on to pit road. Adam Alexander.
And he really did not dispute it, at least that I heard on the radio. You guys heard him asking, as I did, is it a pass through or a stop and go? And that's really the only thing we heard from Todd Bodine. The crew is up on the wall. I'm not sure if they'll take advantage of this opportunity with him coming down to do anything, or if they're just watching. No, Todd's not pulling in. He's just going to pay his debt to NASCAR, go back onto the speedway. And the man who has won the last 3 speedway races in the Truck Series going to be seriously handicapped here tonight.
But what a great race we have right now. Look at these guys running 2 wide.
How about 3 wide?
Let's make it 3 wide for a moment.
2 and 3 wide on the outside. That's the 88 of Matt Crafton looking to lead a lap here at Daytona.
And oh, by the way, who is that right behind him?
I believe that's the 51 of Kyle Busch.
And he made a pit stop on that caution flag.
All the way up to potentially second when they cross the start-finish line. It looks as though he's going to hold on to second. Crafton will lead the lap. And so Ron Hornaday has fallen back just a bit. What's going on with him, Ray?
Well, it could be a very long night for that Longhorn Chevrolet. Hornaday came on the radio and said the truck is trying to jump out of gear. They said, well, we'll get you a bungee cord or something. He said, no way. I've got to hold the gear shift steady. So he must be driving with his left hand and holding the gear shift with his right. That's a long night here at Daytona on a 2.5-mile racetrack.
Now you wonder where Kyle Busch came from? I did. I didn't know how he got there, but check it out.
Yeah,
He's got help from the one truck of Johnny Benson.
And oh, by the way, left of your screen live, he just took the lead.
But you can see right there, Johnny Benson pushing right along, and they get on the back of Matt Crafton, and away they go.
So out in front of this field, it's Kyle Busch. Again, in 2008, he won 21 NASCAR races.
What an incredible season, really a career in 2008 for Kyle Busch. And oh, by the way, look at that 6 truck, third in line on the outside. That was Colin Brown. Remember him running 15th just a few moments ago?
He's back.
You can't ever count out a Roush Fenway truck at Daytona.
And another thing you won't count out, don't count out Todd Bodine. He's down right now, but he definitely isn't out.
Again, Todd Bodine having to serve a pass-through penalty for passing below the yellow line on the restart. And so he will have to work his way back up. But again, we're not going to count him out. Kyle Busch out front of the field. It's race number 1. Daytona International Speedway, the site of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. First run. 2009 kicked off in style, but it's been a bumpy road for a few. Still out in front of the pack, Kyle Busch in that number 51, but he is getting challenged by Colin Brown. This Wednesday, a new high school rivalry is brewing, but this score will be settled in a drag strip. Drag strip high returns to speed for an all-new season. Two schools face off for one unforgettable showdown. Drag racing champs Clay McKillen and Cruz Pettigrew just our judges. Adam, what's going on with... Oh, we got in the corner. Big slide through there.
Back it off. You can't pass.
Yeah, Terry needs to back off. Terry Cook, now he went under the double line.
Why wouldn't you back off?
Might as well back off and give that spot to that 10 of James Busher.
That was Terry Cook in the 25 sliding down below the double yellow line.
We saw what happened when Todd Bodine did it, even though it looked like he may have been forced down there.
Colin Brown was racing alongside Kyle Busch. Watch it. It almost gets away from him, Phil.
Yeah.
Sideways exiting the corner. Steps out, steps out.
Big time.
Look at that.
Nice job by Jared Fitzpatrick to avoid running into him. And watch this now. That's obviously got the field jumbled up now. Watch Terry there. He goes below the yellow line. I know he's probably in his mind think he's forced below there, but I'm telling you, NASCAR's looking at it right now.
Got that truck up to the second spot. Remember my cat I talked about prior to the start of the race, James Busher, starting in that 13th spot. He's up to third.
Well, he's actually running second because they're going to black flag that 25 of Terry Cook. So Terry Cook is not actually scored second. He'll have to make his pass-through penalty.
I think what we're going to see tonight is a zero tolerance.
Well, I think if you are forced, you still need to give it back.
Yeah.
Then NASCAR can penalize the other guy for forcing you. If you get forced and you go down and you complete the pass, then you are black flagged.
If you're the 4C, then you need to give it back. If you're the forcer, then you may be subject to a black flag.
You know, I'm watching these guys, and I saw Colin Brown about to spin out off turn 2. I think the guy that's in the best position right now might be Todd Bodine. He's a half a lap ahead of these guys.
Take a look at the window net here on Johnny Sauter. That is about to come off.
It looks like it's still attached at the top and still attached at the bottom.
At Atlanta last year, Kyle Busch held his window net up for quite a few laps.
He tried to hide it from us and NASCAR and everybody else.
I don't think Johnny Sauter's got enough hands to try to hold that up and still control this truck.
See, I think that thing just came loose. I think that thing has probably some Velcro and it came loose. I think it's still attached top and bottom. That's just the middle part of the net.
Johnny Benson's onboard showing us Colin Brown trying to move back up toward the front. There's Ricky Carmichael in that number 4.
Ricky Carmichael is doing everything that he needs to do. He would rather we never mention his name tonight. He just get out there and run a couple hundred miles and learn and not be a factor until the very, very end if he's going to be one then.
Except at the end when we say Ricky Carmichael finishes this race. And that's what he's all about right now is getting some experience and finishing these races.
There you see the 25 of Terry Cook. He has to serve a pass-through penalty for passing below the yellow line.
Terry pulled down to the apron going in turn number 3. He's going to lose a lot of extra time. You can run these trucks all the way wide open till you get halfway between turn 4 and the entrance to pit road. And wide.
Adam, what's going on?
Johnny Sauter has made no comments about the window net that we have heard, but it's certainly a situation that we are monitoring. But I talked to Jason Overstreet, who's helping run this team, and he said this team has got all the people, it's got all the parts, we just need to put it all together. And it's situations like this that sometimes keep from putting a team over the hump, as you see Johnny get really squirrely going to the outside. Meanwhile, his teammate left of the screen, Matt Crafton, was running in the top 5. He's dropped outside the top 20. He said to his spotter, "You watch, they're going to wreck here in a minute up in front of me." His spotter said, "Only 20 laps complete." And Matt said, "Yep, I know. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Stay back here, stay out of trouble, and be there at the end." A common theme when drivers come to Daytona.
Well, they missed a couple of good opportunities already, Adam. So Matt Crafton's probably not making too bad of a decision this early in the race. A lot of racing left to go. Think about Johnny Sauter. He's right now running up there in the top 10, and he's had his trailer arm fall apart and his winning edge collapsing, but he's still hammered down.
He really is. Now, we saw those 4 trucks up there drive away. Probably as large of a lead as we will ever see. But watch, these guys are going to line up right now to see if they can catch him. That pack is led by that K&N Toyota of Johnny Benson.
How nervous is James Busher, who's running second right now with Kyle Busch just in front of him?
He's not even remotely nervous. This kid's got ice water in his veins. He won at 16 years old in the ARCA REMAX Series, and he won last Saturday night in the ARCA REMAX Series.
At the age of 18, Ray?
Hey guys, remember, these guys can only go between 33 and 35 laps on fuel, so that may be a big advantage for Kyle Busch, who came down there on lap number 7 to put a little bit of fuel in his Mikazuki Toyota. So he could have an advantage if guys have to start peeling off to do green flag stops. Now right behind him, James Busher, what an unbelievable job this kid's been doing. He came on the radio just a little bit ago and said the left front valance is dragging just a little bit in the corner, so try to help me a little bit with air pressure. Adam?
Ray, when you talk about pit strategy, if you're going to come down out of sequence with everyone else, you have to have someone that will come with you to serve as a drafting partner. No problem for Kyle Busch. Johnny Benson, if you remember, came down at lap 7. He took on fuel. He can go farther than these other guys who are yet to come down pit road. And also coming down at lap 8, Shane C., Kyle Busch's teammate. So drafting help would not be a problem if they got out of cycle with the other guys running at the front of the field.
Guys, we got a little bit of a savior for Todd Bodine. We saw him get black flag. Look left of your screen. That's the other truck that got black flag, Terry Cook. And as soon as Terry Cook got out there with Todd Bodine, Michael, they ran 1 second faster than Todd had been running every single lap.
Todd Bodine was losing almost a second a lap when he was running by himself out there, but now he's got some friends. And let's see if they can catch back up. Out in front, Kyle Busch still leading the young James Busher around Daytona. Next Thursday, Bull Run's coming, and only place you can see it is right here on Speed. Join Bill Goldberg as he takes 12 teams on a high-stakes road trip. These teams might make it through the desert in one piece, but they'll need to make it through his challenges to collect $200 grand in cash and prizes. Bull Run with Bill Goldberg. It premieres next Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, but Phil, I think we've got a little bit of a preview.
A sneak preview right after us, after this truck race.
Sneak peek of Bull Run.
I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching.
There's a lot of flames. There's always flames in every episode.
Daryl loves flames.
Take a look at this. Out in front of this group, well, in the back of it, but in front of the pack is the 7 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. He decided to pit.
No, he didn't. He did. You're right. Good call, Rick. But watch why he decided to pit.
Had a little help.
Maybe he decided to pit, but he was hurried up in the process.
He got pointed in that direction, didn't he?
Ron said you better get out of the way if you're going to pit.
Adam Alexander, what's the end of the story?
And guys, what the situation was is he had a hole in his headlight, and so they wanted to bring him in and patch that. It may have been premature. I never heard him say that on the radio. He came down last lap, got fuel. He will come again for tires, and he will do that under caution. Debris on the track.
You know, that really could turn out in his favor because he came in and got tires. He may be able to come.
I don't want to lose this advantage. I don't want to lose this advantage, so let's get it fixed.
He may be able to come in, just put fuel in right now because he's already got his tires.
But if they got to work on the truck, that'll mess them up.
Yeah.
I know he heard the crew chief saying, I don't want to lose this advantage. They know they're in a good spot right now.
Absolutely.
He got his tires. He didn't get lapped.
Guess what?
Oh.
Aaron's lucky dog.
There he is, son. Look at him. 07. He's getting a free lap from Aaron's.
Chad McCumbee gets our first Aaron's lucky dog of the 2009 season, so he'll get back on the lead lap.
He's awfully happy with Aaron's right now, isn't he?
He is very happy. You know, if you're a lap down with your credit, you can get it back at Aaron's too. That's what they do.
You see Todd Bodine coming right up. And again, there are always quickie yellows in the truck series now because of the fact that you're going to have to come down twice to make sure to get fuel and to get tires, so you can't do it on the same stop.
Pit road is not open yet. The pace truck has not picked up the field yet, so it will be a one more lap.
You know, we said in the opening when I shined my speed spotlight on James Busher, I said sometimes, you know, a kid just gets it. How about tonight? I mean, he won here last week in his ARCA car. He won at the age of 16, but now he's with the big boys, and he's running second to Kyle Busch in his first truck start here at Daytona. I'm impressed with this kid. I think he's going to go places.
We will be right back to see all of the, well, sciencing it out of who's going to get fuel and who's going to get tires on this first stop. We'll be back for more on Speed right after this. Welcome back. Kyle Busch will be the first one to come onto pit road. He'll be the first one to have to make the decision. Do I take fuel or do I do tires on this stop? Again, only 5 can come over the wall, and so the decisions are going to be made right now. Ray.
Very simple for Kyle Busch. It'll be tires this time, and they're going to put a round and a half in the left front. He's been dragging the racetrack. Now we'll see our first round of double dip pit stops. Guys will do tires or fuel, then they'll go back around the racetrack and do the opposite. At this end, James Busher will be down. He's getting fuel in that number 10. Adam?
Bottom of your screen, Mike Skinner's been good all night long. Instead of getting tires and then fuel, they're going to fuel the 5 on this lap at lap 33 and send him on his way and come back for tires. Mike Skinner asked the question to his crew chief Eric Phillips, can I get up to speed and come back around when I pit for tires? He said, yes, you can, as long as you don't go by a safety vehicle. You must slow down and adhere to them on the racetrack.
Guys, one other thing that we have got to remember and have got to look at is guys that come down for tires this time and come back in for fuel the next time cannot slide their tires when they get into their pit stall, because then they would flat spot them.
And when you come into the pits and you see tires sliding, that's a worn tire generally. You can come in pretty aggressive with new tires and it'll stop really well. So it really won't be that big of a deal. What I think would be interesting to do, Phil, if you're running 10th or 12th, you probably want to get your gas and then get back out in line so you can gain some track position, so when you come to get your tires, maybe it works out better.
It should be the same, though. I mean, you're going to spend however much time on pit road for gas, and then you're going to spend however much time on pit road for tires. It should be theoretically the same.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Let's find out what theory the 10 team did, right?
Well, that's exactly right, Phil. About 14 seconds it's going to take you to fuel these things, and that was right on what James Busher did there. But here's the thing. These guys were afraid to do tires first because they thought they were very close to running out of fuel. So they put fuel in that Max Force diesel number 10, and this time it'll be tires. So the guys get set up ready to do that. Now, many people might be wondering why it took so long for Kyle Busch, because they had to put those rounds in the left front, so they had to go underneath the truck to work on that thing. So Kyle Busch lost a lot of track position. Now they'll come back down pit road for the second round of stops, and all your guys that went over the wall, now they've got a brand new duty to do something different. Here comes the whole group towards us. The 10 is in right now, and they're about to go for tires. Busher was a little bit slow getting into his pit. That may cost them about a second and a half. Now back to Adam.
The 81 of Taylor Molson is in his pit area, teammate to Mike Skinner. When he pitted the first time, they were scheduled to take tires. This time, they're going to top off the fuel tank. He did opposite of his teammate Mike Skinner, and now we will see Skinner getting his tire. Left sides are on. No changes for the 5. He was very satisfied with his truck, and the winner off the pit lane, defending series champ Johnny Benson.
You know, by the way, guys, on that first round of pit stops, we had 3 trucks busted for speeding on pit road. The 81 of Taylor Malsom, the 17 of Timothy Peters, and the 51 of Kyle Busch. All too fast, right, for leaving pit road.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on down here with Kyle Busch. It appears the official is holding them, so I'm at the other end of pit road. I'll get down there and give you an update. They've got fuel in that thing, and now Kyle back to the racetrack, so he'll be just about the last guy off pit road. That should be fun to watch Kyle working his way through traffic.
Again, this is the first time we have seen this as far as having to do double dip, as we've called it.
Here's James Busher right here, the Max Force Ford coming in. Watch that. The 11 of TJ Bell pulls out of his pits. They make a slight contact right there. I don't think no harm, no foul there.
I don't think TJ knew James was already out in the grass. He couldn't really go any further over.
We'll shake it all out, find out what kind of penalties are going to be handed out when we come back. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning, and by Verizon Wireless. Call more people. Use 0 minutes. Only on America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family, Verizon Wireless. And by Old Spice, the official deodorant of NASCAR. And I think crew chiefs are going to be using a lot more Old Spice.
Especially with the new pit rules we've had.
And antiperspirant and deodorant. And let me just tell you, there are a lot of decisions taking place on pit road, and some people are still scratching their heads. What just happened right there? We'll let you know when we come back. Field comes back to the start line, and we are back underway here at Daytona International Speedway.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Look at that one of Johnny Benson. He's got to run on the outside.
Yeah, I'm going to want to get on the outside or get around that 16 as quick as I can. His tires aren't new, Phil, so he's going to be a little bit slower.
Yeah, he stopped on lap number 7, put tires on, but this most recent caution only put fuel on.
So Johnny Benson ought to make his way around the 16. It just doesn't have the speed with those worn tires.
NASCAR reviewed the tapes, and the 17 of Timothy Peters and the 51 of Kyle Busch were determined not to have been speeding up pit road. They did not have to go to the tail end of the longest line, but the 81 of Taylor Malsom did.
They gave them their places back as they had come off of pit road. And again, we are 2 wide all the way around.
Away. 6 is up top. He's going to turn.
See Colin Brown on the outside there, has Ron Hornaday, the 33 truck, right behind him.
Remember when the race started, his truck was jumping all over the place, and the gear wasn't it jumping out of gear?
Jumping out of gear. He had to hold it in gear, and he's running on the outside right now, second row back.
Johnny Benson, Colin Brown battling it out.
Look at those trucks dancing around, Rick.
That's why the track gets so narrow, Phil. You take a truck as wide as it is and turn it sideways, you run out of room in a hurry.
Brian Scott found that out early in the race on lap number 6.
And there he is racing up in the top 5 despite a super speedway spin in the middle of traffic. He was able to recover from that. Tom Bodine recovering from his penalty right here, riding in the lead pack.
Double A.
And that cycle of pit stops, Michael, very good for Todd Bodine. He was running in the 24th position when the caution came out. When he exited the pit lane, 14th, and he looks very good on track right now. Another guy who's going to have to battle back from adversity tonight is the 81 truck. You guys talked about the fact that he was penalized for speeding down pit road. The reason, he missed his pit stall. That happened at lap 33. He came in at lap 34 and got fuel. Back at lap 35 for tires, and they said, hey, we're back there deep in the field. So they came at lap 36 and topped it off with fuel. An event for night for rookie Taylor Malsom, Ray.
A similar situation for Kyle Busch. He's back in 23rd, but guys, he's very angry about that non-call on the speeding penalty. He sat back there just messing around with the truck. He said, if I'd have known we didn't have the speeding penalty, I'd have gone back off pit road and we'd have been up in 10th or 11th. So a little bit of an adjustment from NASCAR, but I have a feeling it won't take Kyle Busch too terribly long to make up the difference.
Ooh, these guys are getting crazy.
They were 3 wide right at the start finish line, really close.
Johnny Sauter made a move to the outside, and I know he was thinking, come on, Johnny Benson, go with me.
11 outside.
Drove to the outside, and Johnny just sits still, but now he's got help on that outside lane.
2 trucks worked their way to about a 3-truck lead over the rest of the pack, and now that pack is reeling them right back in.
Yeah, that lead won't last for long. Colin Brown right now. Look at Hornaday, switches around, looks to the inside.
Man, these guys are getting with it. It happens so quick and so easy, Phil. We see how these trucks bounce around and move around. You've got to give yourself a little bit of margin for error. Not necessarily what your truck's going to do, but what that guy beside you might do.
You got to give your competitor a little bit of a margin for error. They trust these guys out here. They trust each other, but you have to give them a little extra room because they know that their truck's jumping around. There's nothing to think that the other guy's trucks aren't jumping around.
Johnny Sauter said, see, Johnny Benson, I told you should come with me. I'm going to the front. Those guys are on the outside and taking the lead.
Johnny Sauter trying to lead a lap here at Daytona. Right behind him, Johnny Benson, and then his teammate, the 11 of T.J. Bell.
You got to like old T.J. Bell. He always winds up toward the front no matter where we are, Rick. Had a great end to his 2008 season. Now I talked to TJ, and he was so excited about getting in this Toyota and having a chance to go to Daytona and maybe win a race. And he's right there in the thick of the battle.
4 trucks lining up at the front, down on the bottom now. Johnny Sauter leading this pack around, but for how long? Johnny Benson says, wait a second, I want to maybe take the point for a while.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter said, Johnny, I really like this lead. I'm going to force you up high a little bit.
And when he forced Johnny up, Johnny lost his momentum.
You're going to have to clarify. When Johnny forced Johnny wherever.
There's like a bunch of Johnnies out there.
I knew exactly what I meant, Rick. He lost a little bit of momentum, and Johnny Sauter was able to maintain the lead.
Ron Hornaday continues to follow that Conway forward of Colin Brown. The thing is jumping around,
bouncing all over.
Like I drive those things. That makes me nervous. I don't know. If you're watching at home, that's not a given that he's going to make it around the track every lap.
Oh, Kyle Busch was going to go around the outside of Tom Bodine. Todd moved up the hill.
Said, no, you're not. Looked a whole lot like what Kyle Busch did to Mark Martin yesterday on speed to win that Gatorade 150 race.
Jason White right now, the gunbroker.com Dodge is stuck in the middle. Got Terry Cook to 25 on the inside. Kyle's going around him on the outside.
Kyle Busch working his way back up to the front after sitting on pit road, thinking he had sped on pit road and was going to be assessed a penalty, but then they took it away. So now Kyle Busch has got to work his way through this field, and he's doing a pretty impressive job of it.
Johnny Sauter is able to hold these guys off and lead this race. That's an impressive run for that guy.
Adam Alexander.
And you guys talk about Johnny Sauter at the front of the field. Under that last caution, he and his teammate Matt Crafton talked to one another on the radio, and the plan was for Sauter to push Crafton to the front of the field. Well, Sauter didn't wait for his teammate, and he got there, and now he's going to be cycled out of the lead. Ron Hornaday, the new man in front. Meanwhile, Johnny Benson was getting some teammate help. He had right behind him TJ Bell, and now they're really getting loose on the racetrack. Down to Ray Dunlap.
And Hornaday has gotten to the lead with his Longhorn Chevrolet, and the good news is old Ron's got both hands back on the steering wheel. The crew jumped in through the window and added a bungee cord to help hold that truck into third or fourth gear whenever it gets going. The bungee cord has it held in there, so Hornaday has both hands back to the wheel.
I can't watch.
They are bouncing all over the racetrack, running 2 and 3 wide. Adam.
And you remember early in this race when Matt Crafton said, they're too antsy for me? Well, Crafton has slid back once again. He does not want to be in the middle of the problem. Now, the big thing here, don't lose the draft. But I think Crafton knows we're not even to the halfway point. He's got plenty of time to sit back and wait.
Take a look at this on the right side. That bright yellow truck on the inside line is going to get swallowed up right in the middle.
Yeah, he's going to just drop back in the middle now. Right now he said, oh man, these guys are going by me on both sides, and I think he said, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to lay back here again. I've already done it one time this race. I'm going to do it again.
You know, we talk about these trucks bouncing around, and how that happens, Rick, is a guy will go out and he'll run, and they'll say, how's the truck? And he'll say, it bounces around a lot, but man, it's fast. And that's all you want to know as a driver. Man, it's fast, and I'll deal with it bouncing around. And so that's why you see these trucks driving like they are, because, man, it's fast.
I was talking to Rick Crawford right before the driver's meeting. I said, Rick, how's your truck? He said, man, it's really fast. He said, but I had to slow it down some. He said it was really fast, but if I can't drive this thing all night, it's not going to do me any good.
The fastest lap that's been turned tonight was by Rick Crawford, 47.514 seconds, making his way around this 2.5 mile super speedway. And again, when you run with 36 trucks in a pack, the speeds pick up.
And by the way, that's over 189-mile-an-hour average. Watch out, Johnny Benson.
Wow, very close again. Johnny Benson right in the middle. He's got Kyle Busch on his inside. He's got Johnny Sauter on his outside, and they continue 3-1.
Oh, we got a crash in the tri-oval. James Busher got turned. Big crash.
Oh, and now coming up behind him, we've got quite a few more trucks that are moving into the smoke and can't see where they're going.
Johnny
Benson, one of those trucks.
Ricky Carmichael got hit. That was just a situation where Busher had gotten touched in the left rear quarter panel. I was watching this develop.
Yeah, that's Johnny Benson saying, sorry, fellas, we're done.
James Busher was running second when they crossed the start-finish line to Ron Hornaday.
And I think
there's James Busher right there and Johnny Sauter.
I didn't really see Busher do a whole. I can't tell what happened.
And remember, Johnny Sauter was just leading this race not very long ago, and he is caught up in this as well.
Look at the whole back's gone off Ricky Carmichael's truck.
Yeah, Jason White has some damage in that Gunbroker Dodge. A lot of damage for Johnny Benson right there in that K&N filter Toyota.
That's a big crash.
Yeah, again, we heard Johnny Benson come on the radio and say, sorry guys, we're done.
We saw Jason White yesterday let Dennis Setzer drive his truck, and evidently they learned something, because he's been right up
Larry Foyt.
In the battle for the lead, Jason White has, and now he's torn up like a lot of other good trucks, obviously.
The Blue Frog energy drink.
That's
for
Johnny
Larry
Sauter.
Foyt. There's Johnny Sauter. Good to see him out and about. And he ended up right in the door of that 10 truck of James Busher. There's Ricky Carmichael. Looks like his first try here at Daytona in a truck is going to end prematurely.
I watched that happen. Somebody got a hold to Busher. Todd Bodine, I think.
Yeah, James is on the outside of a 33 of Hornaday. And
Yeah,
looks like Todd drifts up the hill, gets into him a little bit, turns him sideways.
James was perfect. He was up beside Hornaday racing for the lead, and Todd just, and you know, we talked about how difficult it is to race a truck through the tri-oval. Todd couldn't get his truck turned, and he got into the left rear of Busher.
They call it a straightaway, but it's really not. It's an 18-degree banked turn.
There goes Johnny.
Johnny was trying to make his way back to the pits, and then obviously had an oil line or something ruptured, and that caught fire for a moment. He just turned her down into the grass. Here's another view here. There's a contact right there. Watch this now.
What if you're James Busher, 18 years old, racing for the lead at Daytona, and get taken out by a veteran? That's got to make you scratch your head. He's the one that's supposed to make the mistake. But that just goes to show again how difficult it is to get through this trial.
30s with you on your bumper, 30s with you.
We're talking about 3 feet. Todd drifted up about 3 feet, and that's when he made the contact with James Busher. James was trying to side draft off of Ron Hornaday.
4 on your bumper, big start here.
Oh man, Ricky Carmichael.
Behind you here, big time.
Just barely. And Todd just drives away.
Take a look at Johnny's on board.
Kyle Busch on the inside, the Miccosukee Toyota.
Middle. Spin in front of you, ease it back. Go, go, go. Keep going.
Ooh, didn't quite make it. Took the back end off of Ricky Carmichael's
Did you
truck.
see that truck of Kyle Busch? He just worked his way right through that baby. Not a scratch on it. Down on the inside.
You heard Johnny Benson's spotter say, big wreck in front of you, ease it up, and then go, 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 knowing that he had guys behind him that were probably going to run into him.
Yeah, tried to get by that incident, just unfortunately made contact with Ricky Carmichael. Ricky, a victim of circumstances. Really, everybody in this accident a victim of circumstances because of the contact between Todd and James Busher.
Skinner must have a little bit of damage on his truck. He
did get a piece of that. I saw, not a whole lot. You can see right there.
The pits are closed at him, but he's going to come down there and assess that damage. He knows he's going to be in the back anyway, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the damage they're concerned about is on the right front fender. Under this situation, you can send 5 guys over the wall. Normally, the rule has been 7, but the change has come this year for 5. And they're just going to go over and assess where they're at. Pit road not being open, this is a penalty. But as you said, Michael, they're going to have to drop to the tail anyway. So they might as well come in and see if they can fix it up. And as you can see, they have got parts and pieces. This is very normal at Daytona. You know things can go wrong. You want to be prepared. And it appears Randy Moss Motorsports has what they need to try to keep Mike Skinner rolling here tonight.
So it's Hornaday. The different trucks that were involved. You see the list right there. It looked like an impressive start for James Busher's career.
It was an impressive start.
All ended toward the front of the field. He gets sideways, turned around, and the melee happens behind him. So our third caution of the night, and it is the big one, right through the tri-oval.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
Hi, I'm Ray Dunlap, and welcome to the first ever edition of Camping World's Destination Recreation. And today I'm joined by CEO and Chairman of Camping World, Marcus Lemonis. And Marcus, what better place to kick off this new season than right here at Daytona?
Ray, there couldn't be a better place. We couldn't be more excited about the 2009 season. Speed, NASCAR, Camping World, there couldn't be a better combination. And today, we're here to show you one of the few products we're going to show you all year long, our introductory camper.
I cannot get over, Marcus, when I look around that this is a brand new and introductory level with the slider goes out and you get all this space, an amazing bathroom, and I'm amazed at how much room there is in this kitchen.
Well, it's really about creating the features of home while you're on the road, and we got to do it and make it as affordable as we can for the customer. But when we design these things, it's really about mom and making sure she's comfortable. Take a look at the bedroom. You know, you got a queen size bed, which allows you to have a storage and separation from your family if you have kids sleeping outside. This could not be closer to home while you're on the road, and that's what we love about it.
And there's a great space outside, too.
Well, it's really about living outside, too. You know, camping is just not about living indoors. It's mostly about living outdoors, and we want to create that environment for you.
People don't just go to the racetrack either. I mean, there's national parks, there's the beaches, all kinds of places to go. But what's incredible to me is that you can get an introductory level camper like this for around $13,000, which is only $149 a month.
NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's got a great ring to it, and take a look at that. The campgrounds inside Daytona International Speedway. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And we know you're sports fans if you've tuned in to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series here on Speed. Again, we're under our third caution of the evening, and this is why.
See, James Busher pulls to the outside of Ron Hornaday. Todd Bodine tucked in behind Ron Hornaday. Todd drifts up just a little bit, makes a slight bit of contact with the left rear corner of that Max Force Ford, and then it's on.
Oh, look at Ricky Carmichael, just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Great job by Colin Brown slipping through there. You see Kyle Busch. You also see J.R. Fitzpatrick. How'd he pull through that?
Let's take a look at J.R. Fitzpatrick in particular here. Watch this other view right here. Keep your eye open right now. We're going to run this thing along here. Now, freeze that right there. You guys keep an eye on that truck right there. Keep an eye on him. That's J.R. Fitzpatrick, the Mammut Chevrolet. Watch him now.
Where's he headed?
He's going to the infield. Now he's going to drive back towards the racetrack. Hey, it's not over with for him yet. Keep watching him.
He's missed it.
Oh, he's got Johnny Benson coming off the wall. And he misses him.
He hadn't missed it yet.
Pit road is open. Our Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 07 of Chad McCumbee.
He's getting a lap back.
That's his second. That's his second lucky dog. Chad right now is being shown four laps down.
That means if you're 2 laps down on your credit, Aaron's can help you out. You don't just have to be 1.
Pit road's open. Out in front of the field, it's the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Let's start off with Ray Dunlap.
I'll tell you, Rick, I knew these new rules were going to make it tough for us down here. I cannot figure out what Kyle Busch did. He came down pit road on lap 50 to put fuel or tires in his truck, but right now, under the open pit road, Ron Hornaday is in, and Rick Wren has decided they'll do tires on this Longhorn Chevrolet. It'll be a 4-tire stop for the number 33. You see Bodine in the middle in the 7. Let's go to Adam.
And Todd Bodine going to go 4 tires on his first trip down the pit lane. And also in, what about J.R. Fitzpatrick? It's better to be lucky than good. He too will get 4 tires on his first cycle down pit road. These guys will make their way around the 2.5-mile oval and come for more service.
In J.R. Fitzpatrick's case, he was lucky and good. That was a heck of a move. He knew that area down there would be the safest place to go, but he had to get back up on the racetrack at some point. And when he went back up there, Johnny Benson almost wound up right in his lap.
And remember, Ray touched on it. The 51 of Kyle Busch came onto pit road, but pit road was closed.
Yeah,
so he's going to be penalized for that.
It doesn't matter what Kyle Busch did at that point. Evidently, they got some damage. He was right. He did a great job, too. He drove through it like JR did, so they had to come down and do some work on that 51 truck. He'll start at the back of the field when they go back to racing.
Well, next Thursday, Bull Run is coming, and the only place to see it is right here on Speed. Join Bill Goldberg as he takes 12 teams on a high-stakes road trip. These teams might make it through the desert in one piece, but they'll need to make it through his challenges to collect $200 grand in cash and prizes. Bull Run, Bill Goldberg premieres next Thursday, but as you mentioned, Phil, the sneak peek is tonight right after our race.
Absolutely. Right after this race here at Daytona. You don't want to miss it.
I want to go Bill Goldberg. He comes to some races.
He looks mean. He's big. I wouldn't disagree with him.
He was mean in the ring.
1, 10, 13. The numbers: Johnny Benson, James Busher, and Johnny Sauter, all observed and released from the infield care center.
That's good news, because that was a big hit, Johnny Benson. A bunch of those guys took some big hits, but I was worried about old John, but he popped out of the infield care center. Doesn't get his season off to the start that he wanted, obviously. Big crash in the tri-oval.
And looking to repeat his championship, that makes it even more difficult. Here they come one more time, Ray Dunlap.
Ron Hornaday will come back for fuel this time, and boy, it is getting interesting trying to figure out what these crew chief strategies are. Rick Wren didn't really want to come back in, but they said, we got to do it. Adam Krieger will take off a tear-off of the front. done. They're packing this thing with a full can right now. They'll go and they wave it off. Here goes Hornaday back to the track.
And Todd Bodine coming down pit road as well. Fuel is what he will get at lap 53 after taking tires last time. And Colin Brown in for service as well. He too getting fuel on this trip around. Todd Bodine the quickest off pit road at lap 53. And they will have to stop at least one more time.
Are you guys surprised at all that they haven't used a jack when they're filling it up? Because a lot of times they pack more fuel in.
They didn't want to take the extra time to get the jack under it.
Sure enough, we'll be right back. February 21st, AMA Supercross is live on Speed. Don't miss a second of the action as world champions James Stewart and Chad Reed get vertical in Atlanta and go bar to bar live on Speed. Coverage begins February 21st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Speaking of AMA Supercross,
yeah, Ricky
there's
Carmichael.
the GOAT right there, the greatest of all time. And you know, the neat thing about that nickname, it's not something he put on himself.
And the media didn't do it.
And the media didn't do it. That was his peers.
Yeah.
The guys that he raced against.
And I'm glad. I'm sure James Stewart's probably saying, "You go over there and race those four-wheeled vehicles. I'd like a shot at maybe a championship and some wins over here."
Look at that record.
Yeah, what a resume right there. 150 victories. Wow. And 15 titles.
Right now, that Ford truck only has 2 wheels on it.
Yeah.
Just about knocked the rear ones off.
I think it
in
did.
that accident.
Big hit. That was Johnny Benson that got into the back of that 4 after he had spun around and got sideways.
Good news. The lights off on the safety truck. We will be going back green right here. Brent Raymer is our leader.
Well, Brent Raymer only came on to pit road one time. That's why he's out in front. Also, Chase Austin in the 32 did the same. Green flag back in the air.
And they didn't get a very good start, and Todd Bodine's going to make them pay for it. He's going to be around those 2 cats before they get down to turn 1, Phil.
He's got a little bit of help right behind him, too. That is the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Colin Brown right behind Ron Hornaday. And there's Matt Crafton again. Remember the guy that dropped to the back a couple different times? Well, he's running 4th right now.
Up toward the front of the field once again is Matt Crafton. Well,
Crafton says, if you guys will behave, I'll stay up here.
I was going to say, will it get too dicey for him to hang out?
But I'm going to reserve the right to go to the back again if I want.
I see how I can get back up here. I'm not opposed to doing it again.
That makes a move to the outside, maybe going towards the front.
Matt Crafton all alone out there on the outside, though. He doesn't have any help.
There's Taylor Motham. He's gotten his 81 truck up into the top 10.
How about Terry Cook in that 25? He's up there in the top 5 once again.
Now, Phil, where is Todd Bodine mentally right now? I mean, he obviously knows that he had a lot to do with that huge crash. Can he block that out?
You got to put it behind you. You got to put it behind you. Those things happen on the racetrack. It wasn't anything intentional. We know that. He's got to put it behind him and go out there and try to do his job.
Take a look. That 88, the 6.
Watch the 6 moves up the hill a little bit. Almost opened the door for a minute for Terry Cook. Terry said, I'm going down there. Ooh, he closes the door on me.
Colin Brown in that 6. He's been bouncing around. We've been able to take a look at him this entire race. Again, Todd Bodine trying to make it 4 in a row on the super speedways. That's Daytona and Talladega. He's won the last 3 races at those 2 tracks.
And remember what Ray Dunlap told us early on, but right before the race started, that 25 truck, that's the same truck that's won here 3 times for Bobby Hamilton Racing. Terry Cook's got it up in the top 5.
3 different drivers have taken it to victory lane. It could be a 4th tonight.
They're building them a group of guys on the outside line. Here comes Kyle Busch to get on the back of Timothy Peters and join Matt Crafton and see if that group can push closer toward the front. Matt started this all on his own, but after running up there a lap or 2, now he's got some help. Can they make some ground on the leaders?
We talked about the different guys that had gone to the infield care center and were released. Well, a guy who didn't go there had to drive his truck to the garage. Is Ricky Carmichael. Adams with him.
Not the welcome the NASCAR Ricky Carmichael was looking for. What happened on track?
Hey man, just an unfortunate situation. They kept telling me I was doing a great job. I'm like, man, I wrecked, but you know, I don't know if what happened. They shuffled one guy out, and I was just behind Todd, and he got a little loose there. So I tried to move up a little bit because I didn't want to bump him, and then that other guy, man, he just drilled me from the side, and the rest was history. Just unfortunate, man, at Monster Energy. Kevin Harvick Incorporated Chevy was awesome. Those guys worked so hard, and we were doing it, man. If I can get an ounce of luck that I had in moto, give me something to work with, we'll be all right. But it is what it is, and we go on to live another day, man.
Glad you're all right.
Thank you.
Go on to live another day. Let's put
He
that
said
on.
is what it is, too.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. We got all sorts of cliches out of the way there.
This is better than baseball. They're just going to play them one day at a time.
Todd Bodine leading once again at Daytona International Speedway.
J.R. Fitzpatrick's trying to get under Taylor Malsum. Can't quite pull it off. Kyle Busch had been fighting the battle on the high side. He's falling back down to the low groove.
He's lurking back there, though. Kyle Busch is not too content to run back there in the 7th position. Now he jumps to the outside. He just about has that 7 of J.R. Fitzpatrick's cleared. He's up there by himself, though. No help right now.
Yeah, but people like that. People like Kyle Busch. They think he's going to go places.
Yeah.
So you watch him try to line up behind him.
He moved right in front of Rick Crawford there to get back on the bottom line.
He saw that outside. Ooh, nice little move. Look at that truck. He just drove by that 81. Kyle's going with him.
J.R. Fitzpatrick has been very impressive tonight.
Let's see if he hangs Kyle Busch out. There was an opening on the inside line J.R. Fitzpatrick could have fit in, but it looks like he's going to stay out there now with Kyle Busch. Let's see if that outside line will begin to run. Ooh. Whoa, very close for Kyle Busch.
He's right up against that 7 truck. We've seen that happen before with disastrous results.
Didn't look like a bump, but he was right there touching the back bumper of J.R. Fitzpatrick.
Remember, J.R. Fitzpatrick is only 20 years old. He was the youngest NASCAR Canadian Series champion.
Now see, J.R. thought, okay, here comes Kyle. We're going to be fine. Kyle said, oops, you're only what? You're 20?
Fixed off 3 wide.
I better not hang with you right now. I'm 21 or 2, whatever he is now.
Don't forget, yeah, Kyle Busch is only 23, even though he had 21 wins a year ago.
Well, he seems like he's older. He's been around here a long time.
Well, he's been in victory lane a lot of times. The big field making their way through the tri-oval, and the last time they went through there and had some problems, this is what took place. Again, lap 47, the 3rd caution of the night, and it was smoke and fire all over the place. They're still running straight though on the track now. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Nextera Energy Resources 250 from Daytona International Speedway. On lap 64 of this one, it's time for another racing question. Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. The question, when and where was NASCAR's first road course race? If you want the answer, go to Ask.com, where NASCAR fans go to get answers. Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR.
So you just go there and you can find out those answers. That's Bobby Labonte's sponsor on the Cup side. I like that. Ask.com. Learn some stuff.
Where you're running a couple of feet off the line, he's running right on the yellow line, both ends. Just to let you know, they're working lap 65.
Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, we want to hear from Johnny Sauter real quick. Boy, you had an interesting night tonight. Is that to say the least?
Yeah, I mean, I had a blast. Just they don't call him the Onion for nothing. So I hate it for all my guys. ThorSport, all the guys worked really hard, and I hate it for Mike Kirby, who was down here, Duke Thorson, and all the people at ThorWorks. Chevrolet was awesome. That's all I can say. I had a blast. We had something dragging early on, and we had to come down and pit, and was able to go from the back to the front, and got to lead a couple laps, and you know, I had a good time.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, the front end of this number 13 truck completely tore off. Definitely done for the night for Johnny Sauter.
Todd Bodine continues his dominating ways at the super speedways as he continues to lead laps.
And that, you know, that's just got to make Johnny Sauter even that much madder. You know, he's sitting there with the whole front of his truck tore off. He saw Todd Bodine get a hold of that truck, the truck on the outside of him, James Busher, and yet, you know, he's in the garage area and Todd's leading the race. That's painful for Johnny Sauter.
Single file line on the bottom of the racetrack right now. These trucks have started to pull away from the pack.
Well, those guys behind them, they're not content just to ride single file. There's been 2 or 3 of them that have tried to move up top and get a group together that go, oh, wow.
A big hit there for the 85. That was Brent Raymer sliding into the wall.
Throttle's hung wide open too. He's going to hit it again.
right back in front of the few trucks. Like you mentioned, that throttle being hung took him right back into the wall.
And that's no safer barrier there. That's concrete.
Yeah, Brent was doing a great job running up in the lead draft.
What happened? It just get loose with him off turn 2, you think?
Yeah, we saw him get real loose the last time I was watching him, and it was at the tail end of this lead lap draft, and he got real loose coming off to the previous lap.
That was a huge hit. I hope he's okay.
Big hit coming off of turn number 2. Safety crews getting to him quickly.
That first hit, you know, he was braced for it, but if it happened to stun him or daze him, when that thing drove into the wall the second time, you know, he wouldn't have been ready for that.
Yeah, it looked like the throttle was hung, though. It looked like the rear wheels were spinning after he made the initial contact. Okay. Now, remember, Michael, I told you the lap before it looked like he got really loose coming off turn 2. We're going to take a look back at the previous lap now. Watch this now. Watch the black truck at the very end. This is the lead lap draft right here. Right there. That's Brent Raymer. Keep an eye on him at the very back of that pack. Keep going. Watch that truck come off the corner. This is the previous lap. See, it gets sideways, Mikey.
Oh,
he does a nice job saving it.
And it looks like the crash is just a replay of that.
Yeah.
Only a little bit worse.
Now let's see what happens now. Look, he's going to be right up your screen. Ooh, hard contact, and there wasn't another truck anywhere near him. It looks like something may have broken on his truck or something to sit in the wall like that. Or maybe did he get loose and maybe overcorrected?
Yeah, it looked like if what happened the lap before happened again, he might not have been as fortunate with his save. Now watch this thing pound the wall one more time.
Again, as you mentioned, no safer barriers, but the good news is,
watch this now, Mikey. Watch this. You see, he got loose right on the bottom and then overcorrected, shot right across the racetrack into the outside wall.
I mentioned good news. Brent Raymer is climbing out of that truck.
See him right there going straight back into the outside wall. Already stunned from that first impact.
That's Brent Raymer right there. The guys are helping him. I tell you what a tough hit, a tough kid Brent Raymer is.
Yeah. And what a testament to the safety of these vehicles.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, it's another double dip, guys. Ron Hornaday was on the radio with crew chief Rick Grant. He said, what do you want to do? We're in our fuel window. We can't make it. Let's do tires first. So as he pulls his Chevy to the pits, they'll go with 4. They've got a set of stickers, and Hornaday goes over his pit. Hard to believe that from a veteran like Hornaday, but that's going to cost him a bunch of time. He's got to roll that thing backwards. They're going to go with 4 tires on the 33. Adam?
Top of your screen, Todd Bodine in smooth. He said it's just about perfect. Mike Hillman Jr. said no changes. 4 tires this time around at lap 69. Bottom of your screen, Colin Brown also no changes. They get 4 tires on their first stop. They'll come around for fuel, Ray.
Yeah, and Hornaday will come back for fuel the next time too. He said he wasn't able to see the pit signs, what he said on the radio, so a little miscalculation is going to take him further back in the field. He'll drop from second, and guys, I didn't see where he went off pit road.
Yep. Lost a number of positions, Ray.
Take a look at this. Slides through his pit stall.
See, the right front tire was locked up about 2 pit stalls back. Again, these guys are running 55 miles an hour. It feels like you're crawling on pit road, but when you go to stop, you have to do it quick, and at 55 miles an hour, it's not that easy.
You know, we talk about how the track is rough and it's giving up some grip. Well, so is pit road. It's when you have hot tires and you try to stop your truck in your box, it isn't just a given it's going to stop. And as we see there, a champion like Ron Hornaday slides right through his pit. Is so 7 needing another lap back from
He gets
Aaron's?
another one. That's 3.
So
Aaron's lucky dog goes to Chad McCumbee one more time.
So he was 3 laps down on his credit.
He was 5.
Oh.
And he's got 3
back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we might make it up to him.
He's getting closer.
We're going to get him a TV and a refrigerator before tonight's over.
Obviously, it appears as though he's having an overheating problem. That's probably why Chad was the 5 laps down. Yeah, a lot of damage to that 85 truck of Brent Raymer.
Man, I'm glad to see that kid climb out of that thing. That looked terrible.
Yeah. Brent Raymer climbed out of the truck and went to the ambulance. They'll take him to the infield care center, check him out. Here comes the field once again on pit road, right?
And Rick, we know that they're inside the fuel window, but remember, we can go a green-white checkered, and that's a long way around this Daytona International Speedway, so they know they need to pack this thing full of fuel. Ron Hornaday back down pit road. He'll pull in to get service. Going to get fuel this time, tires last time, and we'll see about the same thing from the rest of the field. How about at your end, Adam?
It is going to be fuel only. Top of your screen for Todd Bodine. He's never finished outside the top 5 in a truck race at Daytona. Bottom of your screen, how about Mike Skinner battling back from that damage? They continue to work on the right front fender. He too gets 4 tires on the first stop, fuel on the second, and you guys can check out the race off pit road.
It's a good one, Adam, but we've got the 7 truck, the Canadian J.R. Fitzpatrick in the lead. That's the Mammut Chevrolet. He is number 1 right now. He stayed out on this round of pit stops.
The reason why we're under this, the 4th caution. Take a look at the back there. 85 of Brent Raymer hard into the outside wall coming off of turn number 2. It wasn't over after the first contact, though. The throttle is hung and right back for more. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, event number 1 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV, now offering over 130 channels in HD. Let's take a look at tonight's Advance Auto Parts Save of the Race, Phil.
Remember the big one we had right at the start-finish line. Keep an eye on this spot shadow. It's going to be J.R. Fitzpatrick right there. He turns hard left, Mikey, probably at 175 miles an hour. Now he's going to turn back right. He's got to get to the racetrack. He's still probably running 150, and he's got to avoid Johnny Benson, and he does it. What a great save for J.R. Fitzpatrick.
The save of the race was brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning, and that's exactly what J.R. Fitzpatrick did.
And guess what? He's in the lead.
He is in front of the field. He only stopped 1 time.
He has that prerogative.
You can do it if you want. Ray Dunlap.
Well, let's hear from Johnny Benson. Not a good way to start defending your title here tonight. That was an incredibly hard hit to the left front. What happened?
Well, I'm not sure what happened. All I know is I squeezed between the wall and the 10, and I thought, whoa, that was close, you know. And Rock Air Spotter just did a tremendous job getting us through that. That 4, I'm not sure where he came from. He definitely came from a long ways away. And a time that I did see him, I tried to beat him, but I couldn't. He come up across too fast. So other than that, our K&N Filters Toyota was really good shape. It ran good. The engine ran good. Trip Bruce and the guys just did a great job. And it just it's too bad that we're out, because I think I don't know if we had a shot to win the thing, but it was definitely a top 5 truck just kind of cruising along there. And I surely didn't expect. Usually the safe place is up front, but apparently that wasn't the case today. And I was just got caught up in it and caught a little fire, and now we're done.
All right, we wish you good luck in California. Johnny Benson, let's check in with Adam Alexander.
Not many guys tonight, Ray, have come down pit road and on their first trip taken fuel only. When J.R. Fitzpatrick did that under that cycle of pit stops at lap 69, I was surprised. The reason he did it, that was his only stop there. He did not get tires to gain track position. He is the race leader. Another guy playing strategy, T.J. Bell, who rides in the 5th position. You see him here in the 11 truck. He also played strategy, taking right side tires and fuel under that cycle of stops. That gets him into the top 5. He was 12th when the caution came out.
So strategy, first race of the season. We've got a new rule where you can't change tires and fuel at the same time. Some guys have decided just to come down pit road 1 time. Welcome back. Pace truck off the racetrack. Field back in the hands of J.R. Fitzpatrick. The rookie brings the field back to the green flag.
But he's got Rowdy Bush right behind him. I don't think Rowdy's going to want to follow J.R. for long.
And Rowdy's got the fastest truck from qualifying. Colin Brown, that truck's fast, so he'll get on the back of Kyle Busch, and they'll probably just get right rid of JR.
And Colin has the truck that's won the last 3 times we've been to restrictor plate races, the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Get ready, JR. They're going to jump on you.
Oh, the young man out in front of this field. What he's got to be feeling right now with Kyle Busch right behind him. Colin Brown, as you mentioned, the fastest truck in qualifying. And we saw Colin Brown go from the front of the field back to 15th and make his way right back to the front of the field. It didn't take him but about 5 laps.
Yeah, maybe not even that many. We have seen trucks go to the back, to the front and back. Matt Crafton has elected to go to the back 2 or 3 times and worked his way back to the front. 25 laps to go.
J.R. Fitzpatrick still out in front. Kyle Busch, Colin Brown, Todd Bodine, Mike Skinner, Terry Cook, Brian Scott, Taylor Malsum, Shane Sieg, and T.J. Bell. Your top 10.
And back there in the back, you see Hornaday had some trouble on his pit stop. He's got a lot of ground to make up.
We know he has the truck to do it. Adam, what's going on with J.R. Fitzpatrick?
Well, you know, here's an interesting thing, Phil. We obviously have a lot of time left in this race. 25 laps at Daytona is an eternity, but you're a rookie leading late in the going. Your name's J.R. Fitzpatrick, and you've got a spotter on the spotter stand in David Keith, who has won a race here. David won in the ARCA Remax Series, and it's good to have that leadership up top, I would guess, from a guy who knows what it's like to go to victory lane here, Michael.
Well, you like to have that voice, that calming voice, a guy you know knows what he's talking about. And I know JR's just sitting there thinking, he knows Kyle Busch can pull out and try to pass him. He knows that. And I know he's sitting there thinking, when's he going to do it? Wonder why he hadn't tried it already. What's his plan back there? He's more concerned about what Kyle Busch is doing right now than he is concerned about what he's doing.
I'm going to answer that question. Kyle Busch knows the one statistic that Russell wanted me to get in. No eventual race winner has ever led lap 77 of this race. And guess which lap we're coming up on?
You gotta love Russell.
77.
He calls that his useless statistic. Look at left of your screen.
77, 23 laps to go. You take a look left of the screen. Look at him moving around on the racetrack.
Yeah, Ron Hornaday, Matt Crafton have hooked up on the outside. They're driving by the 14 of Crawford, the 15 of Shane Sieg. What a run they got go through 1 and 2.
Where'd that come from? It looked like they were going to get back in line on the inside, and all of a sudden Hornaday just shot out around those guys.
He's got some help coming. Crafton's going to pull up on his rear bumper. He's got Stacy Compton right behind him in the Weiler.com Toyota.
It was a single file line now. Ron Hornaday making the charge in that Longhorn Chevrolet. Moving up on the outside.
He'd like to have a couple more, maybe get somebody to jump up in front of him ahead of him to get that outside line really moving. Right now, they're not making any progress.
Daytona International Speedway, the site of our first race, the Nextera Energy Resources 250. I want to thank you for joining us here on Speed. It's Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you up here in the booth. Adam Alexander and Ray Dunlap covering all the stories down on pit road.
Oh, yeah, no way. No way.
Seriously, there is a way, Ray. J.R. Fitzpatrick could win this race.
Everybody's content right now. Nice and smooth, just knocking off laps.
Getting down towards 20 laps to go. Remember, new rule this year, it will be single file restarts if we have a caution inside of 20 laps to go.
Todd Bodine chasing that truck up the racetrack just a bit, not completely out of the bottom line. And so he's able to hold off the 5 of Mike Skinner just behind him.
Ron Hornaday's progress is pretty much stalled out there on the outside.
He needs someone like about Skinner up there to get a run on Todd Bodine and jump up in front of him.
Oh, they got by a couple more.
See, that's what Skinner did. He saw him coming. He said, okay, I see what you guys are doing. I like where you're heading. I want to be a part of it. And now Ron will latch onto the back of Skinner. Todd Bodine's thinking it looks good to him too. Here they go. That's how it works, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. Todd pulls up beside of Colin Brown. He's going to bring Skinner Hornaday with him.
That outside line is moving now. Todd Bodine in front of him. Now let's see what Kyle Busch does.
I think Kyle Busch said, I think this is a place.
Oh, problems behind him though. The 23, the 24, David Starr involved. The 23 of Jason White.
The 14 of Rick Crawford also involved.
That truck's hit hard, right in the nose.
Or sure has.
Caution of the night. There's the 24 of David Starr. The 14 just behind him of Rick Crawford.
Look at the damage right here. It's on the left front.
Yeah, the Zachary Toyota right there of David Starr. There's that more. Look at the International Ford of Rick Crawford, former winner here in 2003.
Yeah, he's got some suspension problem in the front end. He does it there.
Yeah, it's towed out right now, isn't it? That right front tire is towed out. Some pretty hard contact with the outside wall.
Probably got a broken tire on.
Just jack it up over there and just take a look at it real quick.
Let's take a look at what happened.
See Rick Crawford on the inside. David Starr goes around the outside, the 24 truck. Ooh, Jason White gets sideways, runs into the 14 of Rick Crawford, puts him in the outside wall. David Starr had nowhere to go.
You know, it looked like he just got loose. Jason White just started to turn just a bit.
It may have been a tire or something go down. We're hearing reports that there was a noise that they heard on the backstretch. Watch Jason now, right off your screen. See the smoke already before. I think the right rear tire went, Michael.
I think he blew out a tire. What a great run for Jason White, too. He'd been in that lead pack, qualified up in the A spot. He had his gunbroker.com truck in the lead pack all night long. You know, a great run, and just unfortunate for Jason, because he was in the hunt tonight. He could have won this darn race, and now his truck's tore all to pieces.
Same thing for David Starr and Rick Crawford getting caught up in this incident. Let's take a listen to this real time.
Yeah, there's some.
See the tire starting to blow apart.
Yeah, that's probably right as they enter turn number 3. Let's listen to this.
Take another listen.
Tough hit there for Jason White.
Tough break for Jason White.
Such a good run going, as we were talking about. And it takes out Rick Crawford, unfortunately. There's Rick right there. Great to see him out of that truck, but I know this is not how we wanted to end this 2009 Daytona race.
His truck's tore all to pieces. It looks like David Starr, Phil, might have a chance to get his truck repaired enough to soldier on to the finish at least.
Now, amazingly enough, even though and we're seeing some of the safety workers that are kind of checking out the walls and the different aspects of that safer barrier. Even though Rick Crawford is out of this race, he still is only going to finish at worst 23rd, which isn't great, obviously, but not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, he's not going to take a severe hit in the points, but guess what? Chad McCumbee gets yet another Aaron's lucky dog, the 4th time this race.
Aaron's will work with you. That's what they'll do.
They're working with Chad, that's for sure. So they're working on the 24. They're going to see if they can get David Starr back out there. He was just a product of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. The 23 catches the 14. They both move up the racetrack. They bring in the 24. And that is our 5th caution of the night. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, which all of us do, you've got to get DirecTV. Again, immediately following tonight's race, a sneak peek of Bull Run. Now, the premiere is next Thursday with Bill Goldberg. He's going to take 12 teams on a high-stakes road trip, but you will get a sneak peek tonight, right after this race, of what it's all about.
I'm not going to miss it. I'll guarantee you that.
I tell you, it is really, really cool. They've got one episode that I think you're going to see tonight where the competition after the race is over. They've got to try to shoot at a bus and then also hit poles while they're driving down pit road. And I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Hey,
so
we're getting ready to restart this race now. We're going to have 16 laps to go when we restart this race. I'm telling you, folks at home, put your helmets on. Back away from the television. You haven't seen anything yet.
And if you got a Hans, I'm thinking a Hans device is not a bad idea either. Go ahead and put that baby on as well.
J.R. Fitzpatrick, yes, it's a rookie stripe on the back of that truck. Adam Alexander, what are they talking about?
There's one word in the pit of J.R. Fitzpatrick. Butch Hilton, the crew chief, said focus, focus, focus. We need a restart just like we got last time. He is the leader and will take the green flag as that with 16 laps to go, Ray.
And Kyle Busch has a little game plan down here, believe it or not, Adam. He remembers that race the other day in the Gatorade Duel 150, and he had a plan that day. Ro, you remember he was down at the bottom most of the day until that last lap. I think it's a similar plan for the 51. He's got his sights on J.R. Fitzpatrick. If I were in the 7, I might be a little worried. Adam?
Running 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now, Ray, are the 30 of Todd Bodine, the 6 of Colin Brown, and also the 5 of Mike Skinner. Tracy Shawyer is one of the crew members for Colin Brown. He's been running up and down the pit lane, going to both the 30 pit of Todd Bodine and the 5 of Mike Skinner. They are pleading for drafting help. Mike Beam, the crew chief for young Colin Brown, said you aren't going to get to the front unless you've got a friend. We don't know how those conversations went, but I think the story's going to be told on track here in just a couple of minutes.
And it's getting ready to heat up. As we mentioned, when they come across the line, 16 laps of racing is all that remains. Green flag back in the air. Here comes J.R. Fitzpatrick.
He wants to get a good start here. Keep that 51 truck behind him till they get up to speed.
I think on that last restart, we saw Kyle Busch decide that the way he was going to win this race was to push J.R. Fitzpatrick around in the lead, be positioned to jump on him on that last lap. Todd Bodine, Ron Hornaday, some of those guys in the back of the pack had a different plan. They had to get there right now. Be interesting to see what unfolds.
And again, remember, we started with a single file restart. That's all 3 series of NASCAR are doing that inside of 20 laps. It'll be a single file restart.
Those guys running 4th, 5th, and 6th. There you see Hornaday's already up there. They can't win from back there.
You got to make something happen.
So they're going to try to get in position to win this race, and it means they got to go on the high side and try to make some ground.
Yeah, Hornaday pulls to the outside of Terry Cook. He has some help with him now.
Let's see who else moves out there.
Brian Scott went with him. It didn't work that time, though. Hornaday's going to try it again. I'll guarantee you. He's going to tuck back in behind Terry Cook, let him pull him back up, and then shoot to the outside again.
J.R. Fitzpatrick. This is the first Truck Series race he's ever led in his career. And it's Daytona International Speedway, the biggest race of the year.
And he's doing it on older tires. So he's obviously got a really good handling truck. He's done an excellent job all night long. That move he made down in the infield to miss that wreck was incredible. If he could parlay that into a win, this would be the biggest night of that kid's life.
He might not know it, but his career best is 21st at Martinsville, and he's in front of the pack at Daytona.
Can you imagine this kid there? Remember, he was Canada's youngest champion. Can you imagine when he was running races at Cayuga and places like that, thinking about leading this truck race with an inside 15 laps to go?
14 to go now as they cross the stripe. Kyle Busch still just waiting, lurking back there behind J.R. Fitzpatrick. When will he decide to make the move?
They're making a little progress. You can see Hornaday's got Crafton and Timothy Peters. They've been able to stabilize out next to
Brian Scott
and gaining on Terry Cook. But they again, they'll make some ground here, and in a minute, Skinner will decide, man, I can't win from 5th. I got to get up.
Brian Scott, look at the run Brian Scott has.
A huge run Brian Scott had there, and he makes the move on the outside. Let's see if Hornaday's able to stay with him and work with it. Todd Bodine creeps up the racetrack to get in front of Brian Scott. Could this be the good luck that Brian Scott has been waiting for all weekend?
And that's why these trucks are so fun to watch here at Daytona.
Todd Bodine was just waiting for that to happen.
We're still coming with you.
That inside line moving a bit now, but now you've got more trucks out there on the outside. Here comes J.R. Fitzpatrick. He stays on the outside, and inside it's Colin Brown making the move. He takes over the point.
He's got Mike Skinner with him. Look at all the damage to Skinner's truck from that earlier incident.
Fitzpatrick has got to hang on because he is losing the back end of that truck.
I mentioned he has a little bit older tires, and when you have a little bit older tires, it's not going to handle as good on top.
There goes Todd.
You can get around the bottom with it, but when you get up in the middle of the track, other trucks around you, it's a handful, and we saw that off turn 2.
Comes Todd and Hornaday on the outside. Skinner's going to pull up and try to cut them off a little bit. Terry Cook now battling for 3rd with Todd Bodine.
Now you see, Kyle Busch had a plan. He was going to ride right behind J.R. Fitzpatrick, but Todd Bodine and those guys didn't care about that.
Well, Colin Brown stayed on the bottom of the racetrack, and now he's out in front of this field. Ray Dunlap.
And guys, Hornaday had a plan too. He was going to duck in behind Terry Cook. He knows how good that 25 is, but when Todd went to the high side, Hornaday sucked out there with him. It's amazing. These guys talking on the radio with their spotters, they have a plan, but a half a lap later, it doesn't matter.
Boy, action is picking up now.
It is heating up as we're closing in on the final 10 laps of this race. There's Brian Scott moving up again in that 16. Right on the back bumper, the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Skinner saying, somebody pull out, and Matt Crafton does. And you can see Brian Scott, he's up on the high side too. It gives Skinner something to draft up on. He's pulling up toward Crafton.
How about Terry Cook right now running 2nd, side by side with Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine coming up on the outside. Does he have the momentum? Doesn't look as though he's going to be able to catch that 6.
Boy, Kyle Busch is just thinking about making it 3 wide on the inside.
Kyle Busch all over the back bumper, that 25 of Terry Cook. Terry Cook trying to hold on to that position.
Remember, that truck of Terry Cook has won here 3 times for Bobby Hamilton Racing as a Dodge.
And it's been in every race in Daytona.
The Freak is what it's called, and it's getting a little freaky here on Friday, the 13th at Daytona International Speedway.
What a great battle right here. Side by side for the lead. Colin Brown the 6th, Todd Bodine in the 30.
Todd Bodine looks like he had a run, but he doesn't have any help behind him to keep that momentum up. Now, moving out there, it looked as though Terry Cook was going to take a look, and as soon as he did it, Kyle Busch takes advantage and takes the spot away.
That truck of Terry Cook's got loose coming off the 4th turn. He lost his grip on the bottom of the racetrack, and look what it cost him, Phil.
Yeah,
sitting there riding in the 2nd or 3rd spot. He's going to go all the way to back of this pack.
Yeah, he's right in the middle now with no help. They're passing him. Ooh, look at that little run he had through the center of the corner.
Side drafting off those guys. He wants to get back to the bottom, I bet.
Did anybody notice that Matt Crafton just moved into 2nd?
Is that the same Matt Crafton that's went to the back 2 or 3 times?
Exactly. Matt Crafton now up into 2nd.
He exercised his option to go to the back for a little while.
He's got an option now of racing for the lead here at Daytona.
He's up high on the racetrack. Kyle Busch will look underneath him. He's able to close the door on Kyle.
Colin Brown gave Kyle Busch an opening, and Kyle Busch took it and moved up into 3rd.
Terry Cook now is lined up behind Kyle Busch. They're going to try to drive by Colin Brown. Ooh, look to the... Took a peek to the outside of Matt Crafton. Didn't go. Now he's on the inside.
Michael, is Todd Bodine a sitting duck out there right now?
He is, Rick, but the thing that can work in his favor
51's on your buffer.
is everybody knows how important it is to get up to the back of Todd Bodine. They're going to battle to get behind him, and if they start battling each other...
Oh, problems, debris on the racetrack. That's going to bring a caution out as we have just 9 laps of racing to go. It's going to be a sprint to the finish, guys.
I needed a breather. I'm glad the caution's out.
By the way, Chad McCumbee is not going to get the Aaron's lucky dog.
We're inside of 10 laps to go.
We're inside of 10 laps to go.
We did all we could do, Rick.
He was poised for it, but he won't get it. Now, it will be just a dash to the finish.
What I was saying is what would be Todd Bodine's best friend would be if those guys all got to racing for 2nd. It would set him free, but I don't like his chances right now. What a great crowd, and you see why. You see all the action. That's what these fans are here for. What a great night in Daytona.
They want to see side-by-side racing, and that's exactly what they're getting here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. At Camping World, our lower prices and friendly service will make you a happy camper. By Verizon Wireless. Call more people, use 0 minutes. Only on America's largest mobile-to-mobile calling family, Verizon Wireless. And by Royal Purple. Visit royalpurple.com to find a dealer near you. Let's take a look at tonight's Stay in the Game with Just for Men hair color moment.
He's got a Band-Aid on the side of it.
This is practice a couple days ago. A victim of circumstances. Gets into the outside wall. Jeff Hensley, his guys jump on this thing, get
Brian
it
Scott,
fixed.
he was actually in the Rookie of the Year competition a year ago. Looks like
he got spun around.
It's difficult to stop on
the bank. And now watch this, Rick.
Involved in an incident earlier in this race. He was sideways, had a little contact with the 40, straightens it back out. And oh, by the way, he's currently running in the top 10. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. It's exactly what Brian Scott is doing.
That's impressive. I mean, he spun out in the middle of the pack off 2, and here he is racing for the win at Daytona. How do you do that?
How about that? Mike Skinner also has a lot of damage on the right front corner of his truck. Adam, what's going on with Jared Fitzpatrick?
Remember lap 69, they came for fuel, stayed out, did not get tires. They were leading the race. Well, they saved that set of tires. Butch Hilton said, great job leading, JR, but we're going to bring you down here and get 4 tires. He'll start deep in the field, but with only 19 trucks on the lead lap, he's got a chance.
6 laps to go from Daytona International Speedway. Who's going to win the first race of the 2009 season? Green flag back in the air. Looked as though Kyle Busch might have spun his tires.
He definitely did. A great restart for Todd Bodine, but that could hurt him because Kyle Busch will have momentum when he gets there.
Those guys are already dicing it up, trying to figure out how they got to get up from 4th and 5th if they want to win this race, and that's what they're going to battle and try to do.
All over the back bumper of that 30.
Obviously, Kyle Busch content right now to run 2nd.
We found out in the Truck Series, it really doesn't matter where you're running until you come off of turn 4. and then you've got a chance at winning this race.
You can be 100 feet from the start-finish line and have a chance running third to win this race.
Colin Brown's had a very strong truck all night. He's in that number 6, moving on the outside.
He's got Skinner and TJ Bell with him. The outside line will make a move here.
Ray Dunlap, what's going on with Kyle?
Well, just keep in mind, guys, that 2 of the last 4 races here at Daytona have had a last lap pass, and Kyle Busch is very aware of that. Bobby Hamilton won in 05 in the last couple of feet, and Jack Sprague did it in 07. And Kyle Busch talking with his spotter, Jeff Dickerson, saying, let me know what that outside line is doing, but right now I like where we're at. I want to be in second until they wave that white flag. Adam?
Our last Speedway race, Ray, was in October at Talladega Super Speedway. On that Saturday afternoon, Colin Brown finished 4th. He gained a great deal of experience, and he's running good tonight, but you can never get enough help. Carl Edwards, under that last caution, was on the radio trying to help Colin Brown. And right now, Brown right in the middle, the meat of the sandwich, a tough situation for any driver at Daytona.
Boy, keep your eyeball on the 7 truck. J.R. Fitzpatrick with those new tires. I know he's deep in the field, but that's an advantage. And he get in the right situation. There he is, right behind Brian Scott. He's already driven up beside the 6 of Colin Brown. He could be a player with those tires, Phil.
He sure can. He's got the freshest tires in the field right now. His truck's going to fight back on the outside, though.
His truck won't bobble around. Look at him making a move down on the bottom. Great move. He's on the inside.
He's got his left side tires below the double yellow line.
Well, that guy, he was on the straightaway.
Yeah, I was going to say he's on the inside of a 3-wide situation there.
I don't think we can get on him for that. Although a rule's a rule, I understand. But
NASCAR's been pretty adamant.
That guy pinched him, though. Oh, a truck into the outside wall. It looked like TJ Bell.
A little contact, but it looks as though we're going to stay green. There's the right side of that 11 of TJ Bell. 3 laps of racing to go. Again, out front, Todd Bodine, Kyle Busch, Terry Cook, Ron Hornaday, Matt Crafton, your top 5.
Here comes Skinner on the outside with the 6 of Colin Brown pushing him.
Hornaday running 4th right now. He's got Terry Cook in front of him. Again, Terry Cook's truck has been to victory lane 3 times with 3 different drivers.
If that 7 truck could ever bust free and get to the outside with those new tires, I believe he could make some ground up there. Right now, he's trapped on the bottom, though.
See, Matt Crafton's going to make it 3-wide, going to put J.R. Fitzpatrick in the middle.
Colin Brown sees the momentum that Crafton had, tried to get up in front and work with him.
You can see the 7. He gets around the 17 with Timothy Peters. He's right on the back of Taylor Mossam. Can he push him to the top 5? Watch this 7 truck.
Going to try to push him by the 5 of Mike Skinner. He's got him cleared.
Be smart here. Be smart. A lot of stuff's going to go on this last lap and a half.
Sounds like Butch Hilton giving him a little bit of advice.
Under 5 miles of racing to go from Daytona.
The 7 needs to pop to that outside and try to use his new tires.
He's on the inside. You see the left side's below the yellow line again. Who's that jumping in the outside?
Mike Skinner took to the outside. Mike Skinner's looking for help. Doesn't look like he's going to get any from that 17 of Timothy Peters. And now Colin Brown's going to make a 3-wide going to the outside. Side by side here, Skinner and the 7 of J.R. Fitzpatrick just in front of him. 3-time series champion, the 33 of Ron Hornaday. But Todd Bodine with just a lap to go, looking to make it 4 straight wins at the super speedways.
And where's Kyle going to try to make his move, Michael?
He'll probably do it down in turn 3. He's got just what he wanted. He wanted to be running second when he took the white, and he's positioned right on Tom Bodine's bumper. He's going to count on Terry Cook to go with him when he makes the move to the outside of Tom Bodine on the back straightaway.
Will Terry make it 3-wide, though, and go for the win himself? Here comes somebody on the outside again.
J.R. Fitzpatrick out there in the 7. Looks like he's going to try to fall back in line, though, just in front of Taylor Malsom.
Hornaday's peeking to the outside. He tucks back in.
Who's going to make the move? Right now, the 51 of Kyle Busch all over the back bumper. He moves to the outside. Looks like he gets loose. Drops back just a bit. Now as they work their way coming out of turn number 4. A huge lead for Todd Bodine.
It isn't enough.
Catch him.
It isn't enough, is it?
Todd Bodine is going to be able to hold up the pack. He'll win again at Daytona.
Woo! Wow, what a job by Todd Bodine. We said Todd said 2 in a row. I believe it's 4 in a row for Todd Bodine.
2 in a row right here at this racetrack, Daytona International Speedway, a name synonymous with NASCAR. The Bodines got their first victory with Todd Bodine a year ago at this racetrack, and he does it again in the Truck Series.
Kyle Busch, I looked for him to make that move on the back straightaway. He tried to make it off turn 4, but it was just too little too late. He didn't get the help from behind. The truck behind him, Terry Cook, tried to pass Kyle Busch, and that messed up Kyle's plan.
Todd tried for so many years to get to victory lane in Daytona in multiple different series, and for the first time it happened a year ago, and now he duplicates that performance tonight.
What a great job by Todd Bodine. Here comes Kyle Busch. He was right where he wanted to be.
It looked like something happened with Kyle Busch when he was coming through 3 and 4.
He fell off of him. I think he laid off of. See, he gives Todd a push right here. Gives Todd a tremendous amount of speed down into the corner. Kyle gets a little sideways, and the thing just loses grip. Now watch Terry Cook. I think Kyle thinks everything's still fine. If he can just get Terry Cook to push him to the checker, he might have a shot at it. But watch, Terry says, I need this position. I'm going to get you, Kyle.
Ooh, he almost did too. What a great job. But Terry pulls over the side draft, almost gets second. Terry ends up in third. J.R. Fitzpatrick came all the way back to 4th.
Wow, what a job. What a call by Butch Hilton. What a job by J.R. Fitzpatrick behind the wheel of that number 7 truck.
The last time an unsponsored truck won a race was way back 62 races ago. Ron Hornaday Jr. at Kentucky. And yes, there is no sponsor on the 30 of Todd Bodine. Adam Alexander.
It's always special to win at Daytona. Mike Hillman Jr., the crew chief for Todd Bodine. How's it feel to go back-to-back?
It's pretty awesome. Like I told them guys on the radio, we got the best race team in the garage and the best driver. I'm just glad to be part of it. You know, with no sponsor right now, we're kind of racing like a late model team, so winning's going to help us a little bit, but if somebody wants to help us out, it'd be nice.
You've won 3 of these speedway races in a row coming into tonight, and you get handicapped early with the penalty. Talk about battling through adversity and going to victory lane again.
Our motto is never give up. I mean, that's why we're here with an unsponsored truck trying to win the race and winning the race like we did tonight. You know, everybody's done their job. We battled through adversity before and gone to victory lane. It's pretty awesome.
4 wins in a row on speedway races, and more importantly tonight, back-to-back at the World Center of Speed.
First driver to do it. We had 9 different winners in 9 races coming into this one. And now Todd Bodine has not only been a repeat winner, but back-to-back at Daytona International Speedway.
It is absolutely amazing that a guy can win 2 in a row here. We saw anybody in the field could have won this race.
From first back to about 12th, all separated by less than a second. Checkered flag just coming out for the Nextera Energy Resources 250, the first event of the 2009 season from Daytona International Speedway. And let's go to victory lane and Adam Alexander.
And not once, twice, not even 3 times, but 4 in a row at Speedway races. Todd Bodine has taken this 30 truck to victory lane, and the celebrations never get old. A Gatorade shower, and well-deserved. Uh-oh, he's doing his own little dance here in victory lane. You got no sponsor on this truck. You get penalized early in the race, but the same old result. Congratulations. Once again, you're celebrating at Daytona.
I can't believe it. It's incredible. I tell you, it's this truck right here. This thing will fly. You know, the whole race, I'm following guys. I'm under them, behind them, and they're all fighting their trucks, just bouncing all over. This thing was rock solid all night. Never pushed, never got loose. Unbelievable. I mean, first I got to thank the fans for being in the grandstands, watching on TV. It's a great sport. We all love it. Thank you very much. Steve Germain's birthday. Got to say hey. Everybody back at home, hey.
How concerned were you when you had the pass-through penalty for dropping below the yellow line and passing?
I wasn't worried a bit, not one bit. You know, especially when, you know, I knew if it went green, we were going to get lapped. There's no doubt about it. But when the 25 got up there, we were actually running times faster than the leaders. So I wasn't worried about it. I knew the caution to come out eventually, and it did, and worked in our favor.
Now, when you talk about momentum, winning at Daytona is a great way to start. What can that do to get this team going with no sponsor on this truck?
Well, that's the thing. It's a great deal for some corporation that wants to be in this sport. For a race team, Germain Racing, to come out, do this 2 years in a row, 4 speedways in a row, that's phenomenal. That speaks volumes for this team and what they can accomplish. And it's a great opportunity for some corporation. We're ready and able.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Todd Bodine with an amazing win, and what a streak, Ray.
And a second place finish for Kyle Busch. But Kyle, you were saying on the radio you wanted to be second with the white flag to go. Take us back and run through that last lap. Anything you'd do differently?
I've tried 2 years in a row to do something, and neither one of them have worked. So I'm an idiot when it comes to the last lap in these trucks. So just apologize to this team, Billy Blue Motorsports team. They did a phenomenal job. And Mikasuki, Red Top, Toyota, and Triad, everybody that's helped us. And so, going down the back, I got into Todd getting into turn 3, and it kind of shot him ahead, I guess. And, I couldn't get my momentum built back up, and Terry wanted to get to my outside. So I just can't figure out when to make a move, because if I go before the last lap and I make a move, then everybody's just going to get overzealous behind me and go crazy and start wrecking and stuff. So I don't know what I can do different, but I've got to figure something out.
All right, Kyle Busch takes a second place home tonight for Billy Blue and the 51 team. Booth?
Well, an amazing finish once again. Actually, a carbon copy of a year ago. It was Todd Bodine that won, and Kyle Busch finished second a year ago, and it happens once again in 2009. Terry Cook, oh so close. A great run for J.R. Fitzpatrick coming in fourth. How about Timothy Peters? Didn't talk about him that much. He finishes in sixth tonight. Celebration, though, for Todd Bodine and the 32. 2009 season has been kicked off. Who will keep the momentum rolling when they go to California next week? That will be the big question. And who can bounce back after some of the hard hits that took place on the racetrack? One guy who has the momentum with him right now is Terry Cook, and he's with Ray.
And I said at the top of the show, 6 top 10s for Terry Cook, and he's been oh so close. And guess what? Welcome right back to the same old story.
That was fun tonight. I haven't had that much fun since Dodgem in junior high. That was just a great time out there. But I personally have to thank Danny Rollins, the crew chief, Jim Harris, Sherry Harris, for everybody to make this thing happen. This truck 2 weeks ago was a Dodge. We converted it from a Dodge to a Toyota. A lot of hard work went into this with all my guys the last couple weeks. I know a lot of people talk about all the guys back at the shop, but our guys really did put a lot of hours to make this thing happen. But, to have Cajun Industries come on board, you can check them out at CajunUSA.com. Right the week before to run as strong as we did here. I truly, Ray, thought I was going to win that thing, and in my opinion, I think Kyle went just a little bit too soon. He bump drafted Todd going into 3, got Todd up the track. Kyle got a little loose, had to check up, lost all of our momentum coming to the stripe, but this thing sucked up so well. I knew when they went double file coming to the stripe, it was going to be like a supercharger hooked up to this Toyota Tundra, and we were going by.
Congratulations. Another great run for Freak. Terry Cook finishes third. Adam?
Team owner Kevin Buckler just congratulated rookie driver J.R. Fitzpatrick on a top 5 finish in your first ever trip to Daytona. I want to talk about getting those tires at the end of the race. A good call by Butch Hilton. How big was that on the final run?
Yeah, we definitely had a great truck. When we were leading there on old tires, it was surprisingly holding to the bottom really good. And, a lot of people to thank. The whole crew did an awesome job. The truck was driving beautifully. We had a good strategy at the end. It really helped. If we had a couple more laps, probably would have been real interesting. But, the PME motor pulled real good. All the guys just did fantastic. I'd like to thank Man Moot and TRG. This is awesome.
All right, and you go to October 2008, the biggest track JR had been on, a quarter mile. I think he's graduated, guys.
Definitely. We take a look at our unofficial results. Todd Bodine, another win for Todd Bodine, and especially here at the Super Speedways. That makes 4 in a row for him at either Daytona or Talladega.
Remember when Timothy Peters said when we interviewed him before qualifying he might get a top 10 or maybe even a win, and he said it sheepishly, but he about did get it. He definitely got a top 10, and he had a chance to win this thing.
Yeah, how about Taylor Malsom? A top 10 finish there in that 81 Randy Moss Motorsports Toyota.
Randy Moss's birthday, by the way, today.
That's right. Happy birthday, Randy Moss.
I saw Randy Moss earlier.
TJ Bell gets an 11th place finish. Brian Scott overcame a lot of adversity to finish 12th.
My man Brian Silas got a solid top 20 finish. Avoided a couple of crashes. Now these guys weren't so fortunate to avoid the crashes. Rick Crawford, Jason White, Brett Raymer, all the way down. Many chances to get torn up tonight, and those guys couldn't avoid it.
Michael, what's the craziest thing you've done after a win?
Well,
have you ever danced?
Did you ever do
take a look at that.
I stood on my head at Bristol. That was pretty cool. And then I did a tumble because I couldn't do a somersault.
You fell down basically.
I'll tumble for you.
That was a celebration, obviously, in victory lane. Now, let's look back on this a bit. We had new rules that came into play. Do you think they affected the way the racing took place on the track?
You know, Phil, I don't think so. I think we saw everything that we hoped we would see. The competition was incredible. The pit road procedures, if they save the team money, they're not going to mess up the racing. The racing was as good as it's ever been.
And I like the fact that Kyle Busch said, I haven't figured out this last lap thing in a truck. Now, he knows how to do it in the car. He did not figure it out that second year in a row when he finished second. He said he made his move too quick. I think he's right. When he ran into Todd, that shot Todd forward enough that Kyle wasn't able to catch back up to him. If he'd have done that going in one, he probably would have had enough time. It didn't work for him, and Todd wins for the 4th time in a row on a super speedway.
He might have thought, I'm going to give him a little bump here. It'll get him out of whack, and I'll be able to drive by him. But Todd did a great job, hung on to his truck, and just steamed away.
Kept that momentum running, and he ran it all the way to the start-finish line. The finish line for Todd Bodine, making it his 16th career win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. And the celebration continuing for him. Congratulations all around as the adrenaline has come up to a peak. Remember, Bull Run, a sneak peek, will follow us right here on Speed. That premieres next week, but you get a sneak peek tonight. You want to make sure to stay tuned for it.
I'll tell you, Todd made a little bit of a bull run tonight, didn't he?
He did, and then he proved he's quite a dancer. He looked good in victory lane, prancing around.
Again, coming up next is Bull Run. The fans are starting to file out, but this kicks it off here at Daytona International Speedway. Great racing again for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
You got to come to California and see these dudes. It'll be just as intense out there.
What a great way to kick off a new relationship with Camping World as our new series sponsor.
And Todd's our first happy camper.
He is definitely the first happy camper of the 2009 season. It's underway. The Truck Series are running again in 2009, and the adrenaline level is going to climb all season long. Todd Bodine wins our first race here at Daytona.
The Advance Auto Parts Advanced Look. In 1 week, the Truck Series heads west. Will Chevy get its first Fontana win in 10 years, or will it be a rowdy repeat? Racing from California next week, live on Fox. And in 3 weeks, the trucks are back on Speed with racing in Atlanta. Be there.